जाता है. We're going to come back and we're going to see the end of you. So thank you very much.
Oh,
thank
well
you.
done. हम लोग करो राहुल जी.
Action there coming in from Mahua Moitra, who's been expelled as a member of parliament from the TMC in the cash for query row. Before we go across to our colleagues, another reaction coming in from Priyanka Chaturvedi. Let's take a look.
Mahua is playing victim, but the government says and the party, BJP says that this is actually karma which is coming back to bite her because there is enough proof.
So if they're talking about karma, karma will certainly come to bite them as well for undermining an elected representative's right to defend herself, undermining the entire parliamentary democracy and how natural justice should work. So if they're talking about karma, they will also get their soul.
But what they're basically saying is that there was proof on record and Mahua was given a chance to defend, but she chose to walk out of that meeting.
I personally feel that even if she did walk out of the meeting, there should have been some semblance of having an investigation where those witnesses who given their sworn affidavits could be cross-questioned as to the nature of gifts, the number of gifts, the value of those gifts, and why were they given and at what point in time. So those are those grey areas which can't determine someone's guilt and someone's accusations of having given bribe. That is my only contribution to this entire discussion.
Thank you so much.
Interesting reactions coming in from the opposition. Also, a united opposition standing with Mahua Moitra post her expulsion. Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Karti Chidambaram, Farooq Abdullah and many others. Let's bring in our colleagues. We have Pallavi Ghosh joining us. We have Kamalika joining us and Arun Danta. Arun, coming to you first. The point that is being made by Mahua Moitra and many within the opposition is that there is a different yardstick that is being used to reach the conclusion to expel Mahua Moitra. The question that is being raised by Mahua is that why was Darshan Hiranandani, the businessman who turned approver in this case, why was he not summoned? Is there a precedence to help us understand in cases whether someone who turns an approver is also summoned or not?
Well, see, in fact, the same question was raised inside the parliament as well from the opposition speaker, and in fact we heard the response coming from Aparajita Sarangi when she was speaking inside the parliament, when she said that he had given a sworn affidavit in the consulate in UAE, and therefore that has considered as an affidavit which was used by the ethics committee here as his statement. So I think the points which BJP raised in the parliament, we just heard Aparajita Sarangi in a phono to us where she said that the impression of the Indian parliament structure is something which is going negative outside. When such news goes out that member of parliament taking someone else's help to put out the questions, that is something which is not sending a good message for the Indian parliament and the member of parliament. So therefore she was saying that it's an insult for the Indian parliament, and therefore, and she also raised this point that when you fill that form, before you get the email ID and of course the ID password for the login, in that form it is clearly mentioned that you cannot share this password with anybody else, and therefore she concluded by saying that it was unethical conduct on her part, and it was also a contempt of the parliament. So these are the major points which she raised inside the parliament, and while she was responding to, of course, the allegations coming from the opposition speakers who were speaking in the parliament.
Sure, I'll just request our colleagues to stay on with us. We have another key reaction coming in from the opposition. Farooq Abdullah reacting. Let's take a look.
What would you want to say in Mahua's defense, even though the
I only say this one. She should have been given the right to speak.
But when she was given a right to speak, sir, but when she was given a right to speak in the committee, she chose to walk out, is what the government is saying.
Whatever they say, the point is she should have been given the right to speak.
Thank you so much. So what would you want to say in Mahua's defense, even though the
I only say this one. She should have been given the right to speak.
But when she was given a right to speak, sir, but when she was given a right.
So Farooq Abdullah, they're saying whatever the bone of contention was, Mahua Moitra should have been given a fair chance to speak, to respond. Let's continue the conversation with our colleagues. Kamalika, coming to you first. Any first reaction coming in from the TMC so far? Kamalika, can you hear me?
Yeah, definitely the Trinamool is going to have this Mahua Moitra as a victim card. That's definitely the Trinamool Congress is going to project. That's very clear, because we have seen that when Mahua Moitra was actually expelled, the entire party was with her. Shruti Bandopadhyay and other senior MPs all over there with her. So one thing is very clear, that this is definitely, no matter what the BJP raises the question for cash, for questions and all those things,
Okay.
Trinamool Congress definitely is going to play this up, as this is Mahua Moitra is victimized. She's actually, there has been conspiracy, there has been politics against her. So all those things points definitely that are raised, because Mamata Banerjee herself has said that no matter if she is expelled, she will say everything outside the parliament. So one thing is very clear, that Trinamool Congress right now is backing Mahua Moitra definitely, as because we have seen that Shruti Bandopadhyay himself, he went to the speaker and he spoke to him, he asked time from him so that Mahua Moitra could speak. So definitely the party is there. And another important point here is the India alliance, which was somehow seems to be in a problem after the results. Now this is one point where
Kamalika,
we
we'll
see,
request you to stay on with us. In fact, we want to take in the first reaction from the TMC. Sushma Dev now joining us. Thank you so much for speaking to us here at CNN News 18. Your party's first reaction to Mahua Moitra being expelled.
I think we are very crystal clear. This entire process has been biased. Mahua is on record saying how she was not heard before the ethics committee, irrespective of what the members are saying. And I think what is also clear is that she has been targeted for the kind of questions she's raised in the parliament to challenge Mr. Modi, to challenge some of the business dealings of Mr. Adani. And clearly this is a conspiracy against her. And the long drawn report itself admits that they have no evidence whatsoever on cash or any quid pro quo. So the ethics committee, as far as I am concerned, has given absolutely no evidence on cash flow query. I see all the channels running a scroll cash flow query on Mahua Moitra, and I hope that comes to an end now that the ethics committee itself is saying they can't investigate it. So till now, there's absolutely no evidence of it.
Ms. Dev, I was speaking to Aparajita Sarangi, who is a member of the ethics committee a short while ago, and I was asking her that Mahua Moitra and the opposition is saying that she is not being given a fair chance to defend herself or put her side forward. The counter to that coming in from the ethics panel is that she was given a fair chance, but she decided to walk out.
See, the members of the opposition who sit on that committee agreed with Mahua to say that there were improper questions being asked of her, irrelevant questions to humiliate her. So if you want to give credit to Aparajita Sarangi's statement, then you must take into consideration what the other members are saying. It is very simple. She's been targeted. I think the entire nation understands that why she's been targeted. But I can tell you something, that people of Bengal will stand by her. You will see in the 2024 election.
Another aspect that I want to understand, Ms. Dev, from you is that it was not just the BJP that was mounting pressure on the ethics committee or saying that allegations need to be looked into seriously. The businessman who was named in this case later turned an approver in this case, Darshan Hiranandani, and he also made some very serious allegations as far as the sharing of these login credentials are concerned. The narrative that came from the BJP was that this was compromise of national security. Then why should Mahua Moitra not be expelled?
See, it is very simple. What is there for Mr. Hiranandani's affidavit? Mahua Moitra batted with a straight bat throughout. He said in the beginning that yes, I had given my password and several MPs give it to other people in their office, etc. She never denied it. So where's the rocket science in it, and what is the great revelation that Mr. Hiranandani makes? Today, if someone writes a letter that you are doing a story because I have given you an expensive watch, would you not want concrete evidence before there's any action against you? And clearly this whole password sharing is in a grey area. That's why the Secretariat had to issue another order to say it's secret. If it was crystal clear, if it was so crystal clear, then where was the need for the Parliament Secretariat to issue yet another notification to say that it is a secret and you can't share it with anybody, because they know that majority of the MPs do share their passwords.
Okay.
Even Ms. Sarangi has said it on television on many interviews I have seen.
Sure. Ms. Dev, lastly, before I let you go, we just got the first reaction from Mahua Moitra saying, I will fight this till the end. What is going to be the plan of action as far as the TMC is concerned?
There's no change in our plan of action. We are battle ready for 2024.
Okay.
And I hope Mahua all the very best. I hope she comes back to a thumping majority.
Okay, Ms. Dev, we appreciate you speaking to us here at CNN News 18. Some other crucial reactions also now coming in. Let's take a look.
और ये बदले की भावना से किए गए, बिल्कुल साफ है। ये अब मैं नहीं, 2 दिसंबर को आप देख लो, 2 दिसंबर मैंने जो पत्र लिखी थी उसी की आप थोड़ा पढ़ लो। आज भी सब सांगवादिक के पास है। मैं स्पीकर साहब को लिखी थी 2 दिसंबर, आज भी वही राय है मेरा। ये बेबुनियाद तथ्यों पर, आधारहीन और सिर्फ बदले की भावना से ये किए गए हैं, ठीक नहीं। रोजाना सदन के अंदर सत्तारूढ़ पार्टी, खासकर मोदी जी, महिलाओं की महिमान्वित करने आ रहे हैं, गुणगान हो रहे हैं। और देखिए आज ये नए सदन में सबसे पहले महिलाओं को बलि पे चढ़ा गई। बलि पे चढ़ाया ये सरकार, जिन्होंने रोजाना महिलाओं की महिमान्वित करते हुए अपने चुनावी वोट बैंक को और मजबूत करना चाहते हैं।
बाद में कहा कि चाहे 7 मिनट चाहे कोई 5 मिनट बोलने दो, उनको बयान भी रिकॉर्ड होने दो। नहीं, इन्होंने नहीं दिया। ये बड़े दुख की बात है। संसद
जो कि 3 प्रदेशों में, झारखंड में, उड़ीसा में और पश्चिम बंगाल में 10 ठिकानों पर 2 दिन तक चली, जो तथ्य सामने आए हैं ये बड़े ही चिंताजनक हैं।
The accuser only gives an affidavit. If this is a legal precedent, from tomorrow somebody will just go give an affidavit to court again. I'm making an allegation against somebody, and then the person who's accused can't cross-examine, and the court will find them guilty. So if you're finding somebody criminal, you must follow procedure. What is the procedure? Natural justice and evidence. You're not allowing cross-examination. But after finding somebody criminal, why are you asking for a time-bound inquiry? The recommendation itself is faulty. In fact, it's very sad that this parliament today has accepted a recommendation which is completely faulty. And secondly, asking her to be expelled is a cruel and unusual punishment for the...
Cruel and unusual punishment. That's what Karthi Chidambaram is saying, a sentiment that is being reiterated by many within the opposition. I also want to bring in our colleague and political editor Aman Sharma, who is joining us on the broadcast. Aman, the opposition is saying, why is this matter being hurried up in an unprecedented matter? The punishment that is being meted out to Mahua Moitra is just unfair.
Well, the opposition case is that, as well as this case that Mahua Moitra was not given a chance to speak in the parliament. Today, we saw the TMC leader saying that 10 minutes of the TMC allotted time should be given to Mahua, but that was not allowed by the speaker on the grounds that in 2005, when the cash for votes matter had happened, even then Lok Sabha Speaker Mr. Somnath Chatterjee had not given a chance to the 10 expelled members then to present their side. The government stance is very clear that Mahua had her chance to speak before the committee when she was summoned, but she walked out of that committee and she lost that chance. That is a major showdown which we saw in Parliament today. Apart from that, I think the BJP, with the way the government has brought this motion today, also show the urgency which has been shown to expel her today itself. The BJP is very clear that this matter is a very serious matter. This matter in which the login details shared with a private businessman, that too on foreign shores, is an extremely serious matter. And not only does it is a complete violation of parliamentary privileges and parliamentary rules and regulations, but also a matter of national security, because your login details do not only give you access to the questions you can upload, but also many other matters regarding parliament. And we saw the speaker, Mr. Om Birla, spelling it out very clearly to members that everybody should upload their questions themselves, not share their login details with others. So in a way, many changes have also come in since this matter came to light, that now there are very strict rules on who you can share your login with. You have to inform the authorities if you're sharing it even with your personal assistants. So in a way, the government is sending out a strong message that this is a matter of exemplary violation of the parliamentary rules, and so the strictest action possible in parliament, that is the expulsion of the member, has been undertaken by the government, and the speaker put it to vote and it was passed with the voice vote today in parliament, and Mahua Moitra is no longer a Lok Sabha member now.
Okay, Aman, we'll request you to stay on with us. Let's also bring Pallavi back in the conversation. Now, Pallavi, multiple reactions that are coming in from the opposition, they're all saying that Mahua Moitra was not given a fair chance to present her side. But members of the ethics panel and even others are saying that she was given a fair chance. She decided to walk out of the meeting. It was a missed opportunity.
Well, yes, absolutely. That was exactly the argument which was given by the government also and the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, that, you know, it's not that she was not given a moment to speak. She was very much inside the Ethics Committee, and all her statements have been recorded as minutes of the meeting as a part of Ethics Committee. She was the one who decided to walk out as the other Congress leaders or the opposition leaders are concerned. But you know what's happening now, Ridhima, is becoming a question of attacking not just Mahua Moitra but the entire opposition. And if you go by the recent tweet, in fact the tweet which has just come out from Amit Malviya, it is also now becoming an attack on Mamata Banerjee. She is now being accused by Amit Malviya, who's in charge of West Bengal, of actually defending corruption, for shielding someone who is corrupt, who has broken all the parliamentary norms. That is where the narrative is going to start shifting, Ridhima, to the fact that how it's a conglomeration of corrupt leaders who are ganging up, coming together to defend that one person who compromised on national security.
I think the point that Pallavi is making is very crucial, because going forward, the point that BJP is going to make is that a vote for the opposition will be a vote for corruption. But Pallavi, we'll just request you to stay on with us. Aman, coming back to you with another crucial question, which is the kind of criticism that's coming in. Okay, we seem to have lost that line with Aman. Let me take that to Pallavi. Pallavi, the criticism that's coming in from the opposition is that different yardsticks have been used for people within the BJP and people within the opposition. We heard multiple members of the opposition saying, give us at least 2 to 3 days to go through this report. So it's over 500 pages. The matter could have been taken on Monday. Why was all of this hurried up? What was the urgency?
Well, I think it's also a cooling off period, you know, Ridhima. This is what real politics is also all about. There were two important legislations which the government wanted it to be cleared. That legislation has been cleared. And now I think the government really left it for the end, because they were very much aware of the fact that there would be huge hangama and walkout. The next 2 days are going to be used perhaps as a cooling off period, both for the opposition as well as for Mahua Moitra. But this was to be expected. I mean, this is something which was already decided inside the India Front meeting, that we are going to show of strength. We are going to completely back her. You know, it's very rare to see the kind of pictures which we saw inside the parliament the moments after the announcement was made that she stands expelled as a member of parliament. Sonia Gandhi coming out specially to stand by her side. Rahul Gandhi taking a moment to come inside the Lok Sabha, sitting there when the discussion was going on, and also standing next to her when she was speaking. And, you know, remaining silent about it, because the battles that she has fought, the issues that she has raised is also something which Rahul Gandhi has often been raising, and therefore the Congress feels that this is a time where we need to prove to the voters that, one, when it comes to a fight against corruption, a kind of a corporate nexus, we all need to be together. And the second is that, you know, those who are speaking out and questioning are the ones who are being silenced.
Pallavi, the other aspect that I want to understand from you is the change of stance that we've seen as far as the TMC is concerned. When this case had started gaining traction, there was silence by the TMC till the time Mahua Moitra. Okay, Pallavi, I'll just request you to stay on with us. Some other reactions coming in. We'll just continue the conversation in just a bit.
Mahua Moitra continues to play victim even after her expulsion. Sanjay Jaiswal is with me. क्या कहना चाहेंगे आप?
She hasn't filed even ₹1 income tax till 2014, and her income was less than ₹5 lakh till 2019, and still she has visited 35 countries. She has gone from here to 13 countries, and then she visited 35 countries. And she has never taken FCRA clearance, that who is the sponsor of these tours. She hasn't informed the speaker. This shows that all these tours were sponsored by Darshan Hiranandani, for these questions, and Pranav Mukherjee himself said that it's not question of a person, it's question of dignity of Parliament when it came in 2005, and I think that the Speaker has upheld that dignity. The whole Parliament has supported it. There was not even one vote against it. That shows that the whole Parliament wholeheartedly supported it.
Thank you so much.
Let me continue the conversation with Pallavi. Pallavi, essentially what I was trying to understand is the change of stance as far as the TMC is concerned. They remained silent for a bit when this case had started to gain traction. They only spoke out for the first time when Mahua Moitra was supposed to present herself before the Ethics Committee. How do you see the TMC now backing Mahua Moitra wholeheartedly? I was speaking to Sushmita Dev and she continued to reiterate that they'll continue to stand behind Mahua Moitra.
If you could repeat your question, please.
Pallavi is asking, it's interesting the change of stance that we've seen as far as TMC support for Mahua Moitra, from being silent to saying we'll wholeheartedly stand behind Mahua Moitra. What is the change that has happened and the strategy of the TMC?
See, you're absolutely right, Ridhima, because I remember when this controversy just broke out, we saw a very nuanced reaction coming in from the TMC. In fact, for the first 2 to 3 days, they did not respond at all. Then Kunal Ghosh was the first one to speak, where he said, we are just looking at the case and then we are going to take a call on what action needs to be taken. 3 days after that, you had a Derek O'Brien coming out with a detailed statement. That is because they were facing flack over the fact that the TMC, which is Mahua's party, has decided to keep quiet. And that is when he came out with a detailed statement saying that we are observing the developments and then we are going to take what decision has to be taken. I think the turnaround moment really was at a public event where Mamata Banerjee was addressing the workers. And this has been one complaint which the BJP has also pointed at Mamata Banerjee and also some of the workers also, that whenever they are arrested or they are in trouble, Mamata Banerjee just turns a cold shoulder to them. Also, we have to understand, Ridhima, this was a workers' meeting. It is very important to boost the morale of the workers ahead of the Lok Sabha elections. That is where she mentioned the point that Mahua Moitra has been fighting a battle which she'll fight even outside the parliament as much as inside, and it is a case of political witch hunt. I think the ultimate point, of course, came in from Abhishek Banerjee, no less, when he said that she was a victim of political witch hunt. It was a kangaroo court while referring to ethics committee. I think that is when the TMC decided all out backing for Mahua Moitra. You saw it inside. Shudip Bandyopadhyay, you saw Kalyan Banerjee, both of them strongly pitching for Mahua Moitra to be allowed to speak. Not just that, Ridhima, some of the best soldiers were used by the Congress party, like Manish Tiwari, a lawyer by profession, was fielded to fight for her. Rahul Gandhi's presence, Rahul and Sonia Gandhi being out. All of this is an attempt, once getting the cue from TMC, that okay, we support her on the issues that she has raised. Let us see what happens next. But for now, the Trinamool Congress is completely by the side of Mahua Moitra.
Pallavi, we'll just request you to stay on with us. We also have our colleague Arunima also now joining us. She's also been keeping a close eye on all these developments. Arunima, while the opposition is now reiterating their criticism as far as the functioning of the House is concerned in a united fashion, but the question still remains that was due protocol followed? Because the question that's being raised by multiple, from Manish Tiwari to Karti Chidambaram, is this entire matter has been hurried up because the agenda of the Ethics Committee was already biased and the cards were stacked against Mahua Moitra.
Yes, 2-point criticism. One, that the Ethics Committee rushed through its meetings, did not allow enough time, and comparisons were drawn with the Danesh Ali versus Bidhuri case. And the other criticism was, this is what opposition also told the Speaker today, they wrote to him saying, why are you rushing this? You've just given us a 100-page plus report. The overall report is 500 pages. Give us some time to read it. The government's counter was that even in the cash for vote scam, the only other precedent that you can see, the report was tabled and adopted the same day. So the action happened on the same day, and therefore we are just following that precedent. So the second criticism was negated by that. As far as the first one of rushing through is concerned, even for that, the government said that we have called in the complainant, we have called in the defendant, we have put before her all the questions, allowed her time to answer. What more do you really want? Mahua Moitra's counter that I could not cross-examine the complainant, and on whose affidavit, the businessman's affidavit, you've decided to hang me. That's what Mahua Moitra said. So they will continue to push this narrative that the process of natural justice was not followed. But the government was adamant that a message must be sent that this kind of breach of parliamentary ethics, putting national security in danger, will not be tolerated. An example is being...
তারপরে আমি হিন্দিতে ইংলিশে আসবো। খুবই দুঃখজনক, মহুয়া মৈত্রকে কৃষ্ণনগরের জনগণের দ্বারা নির্বাচিত, ভোটে তাকে পরাজিত করতে না পেরে বিজেপি তাকে আত্মপক্ষ সমর্থনের সুযোগ না দিয়ে 557 পাতার রিপোর্ট পাঠিয়ে আধ ঘন্টার মধ্যে সবাই ডিসকাশন করে বারবার করে সাংসদরা বলেছে, আমাদের ইন্ডিয়ান অ্যালায়েন্সরা বলেছে যে আমাদের রিপোর্ট পড়বার সুযোগ দাও, সেটা পর্যন্ত দেওয়া হয়নি। এমনকি মহুয়াকে আত্মপক্ষ সমর্থনের সুযোগও দেওয়া হয়নি। এটা দেখে বোঝা যায় যে পলিটিক্যালি বিজেপি গণতন্ত্রের সাথে লড়তে পারে না। পলিটিক্যালি ওদের পলিটিক্যাল ভ্যান্ডেটা জন্য একজন মহিলাকে, স্পেশালি বিলংস টু ইয়াং জেনারেশন, তাকে যেভাবে হেনস্থা করা হয়েছে, যেভাবে ক্লাসিক্যাল
as a woman she has been humiliated, she has been targeted,
যেভাবে আত্মপক্ষ সমর্থনের নানান সুযোগ দিয়ে গণতন্ত্রকে হত্যা করা হয়েছে, আমি সেটাকে ধিক্কার জানাই। দল সম্পূর্ণভাবে মহুয়া মৈত্র পাশে ছিল, আছে এবং থাকবে। আমরা চেয়েছিলাম সুবিচার হোক, বিচার করলে আমাদের কোনো আপত্তি নেই। তুমি সিবিআইও করবে, আবার ওদিকে এক্সপালশনও করবে। কমাস বাদে ইলেকশন, 2 মাস বাদে, 3 মাস বাদে বড়জোরের একটা সেশনে অ্যাটেন্ড করতে পারতো, সেই সুযোগটাও তোমরা দিলে না। এর মধ্যে দিয়ে প্রমাণিত হয় যে বিজেপি কতটা প্রতিহিংসা পরায়ণ রাজনীতি করে। Today I'm really sad.
You still haven't given her a chance. This is proof enough that there's a political witch hunt against her.
I don't understand. 575 or 557 pages, 495 pages report. Sorry, এটা বাংলাতেও কারেকশন একটু করে দেবেন। 495 pages report just submitted today of ethics in the name of so-called BJP majority, 90% in the parliament. They lay the report, and after that they gave half an hour time to all the party, including BJP, to discuss the matter and to expel Mahua Moitra. I don't understand how the members will go through 495 pages within this half an hour, and how all the speakers will take a decision. Today I congratulate the Indian Alliance, all they are together, we are united, they fight back, and party fully supporting Mahua's case. She is elected by the people, and she belongs to women and young generation, and for all the community, caste, creed and everything. So how they betray, and how they betray the democracy, how they betray the democratic rights, how they betray even the self-defense of the victims. They didn't allow Mahua to take her own stand to explain her situation. Without taking any justice, you have done full injustice. It's a democracy of constitutional rights. It's a it is a betray to our constitutional rights. They ditch the people, they ditch the parliament, they ditch the constitution because they have the majority. Today maybe they are in majority, but tomorrow they may not be there. We have also 2/3 majority. We can do anything. We can expel anybody from the house. But is it proper, without the detailed case, only to expel somebody will give the justice? We try our best that let all the parties must raise their voice, and they should get their opportunity. Speakers sometimes take the decision to suspend somebody or to expel somebody. But this case, in this particular case, I'm telling you that Mahua is a victim of the circumstances. And I strongly condemned it. Party is totally behind the Mahua, and our party will fight along with Indian Alliance together. This matter open our eyes again against the vindictive politics of BJP. It is unfortunate for the democracy. I thought that Prime Minister must have considered it But just now I have got the information, though I am not there. I am not in Calcutta, I am in Kashyap. I am in Hills. But when I got the all information, I am shocked. It's a sad day for the Indian Parliament. After 3-4 months, there will be election. So only one session is left out. For that, Mahua can attend the public parliament in the outside of the house. It will boost up her moral image and it will boost up her morality. She should fight it boldly. We will fight it boldly. These 2-3 months no matters. The matters is the decision. मैंने ऑलरेडी बोल दिया ना, दिस इज vendetta politics of BJP. I have already mentioned. They kill the democracy. They ditch the people. Within half an hour, every political party has been discussed. 2-3 minutes, 2-3 minutes, 2-3 minutes. And now they have taken a decision. And you left 495 pages. And you didn't allow even the victims to take her own stand for her self-defense. This is unfortunate. This is really unfortunate. It cannot be acceptable. It is unacceptable. It is injustice. It is irreparable. And
उन्होंने महाभारत सुना है, हमने रामायण सुना है. महाभारत तो नहीं हो सकता क्योंकि कृष्ण, भगवान कृष्ण और इधर हमारे अर्जुन तो इधर है, मोदी जी अमित शाह जी हैं, तो महाभारत कैसे हुआ? लेकिन महाभारत किस लिए हुआ था? धर्म और अधर्म के बीच हुआ था. धर्म का जय हुआ और अधर्म का पराजय हुआ. तो धर्म तो इधर है, बीजेपी के साथ है. आपने पैसा लेकर या उपहार लेकर, गिफ्ट लेकर आपने सवाल पूछा. ये अगर अपराध नहीं है तो आप रूल कर दीजिए ना. सांसद के घर के सामने एक रेड चार्ट लगा दीजिए टीएमसी के सांसदों के सामने कि 5 क्वेश्चन, सौगत राय 50,000 रुपया, अभिषेक बनर्जी रेयरेस्ट सांसद है 1.5 लाख रुपया, मिमी नुसरत 2 लाख रुपया, एक सवाल के. तो रेड चार्ट बना दीजिए. ज़रूरत ही नहीं है कुछ रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन की.
Multiple crucial reactions coming in. The first reaction of Mamata Banerjee also coming in, saying that we will stand strongly behind Mahua Moitra. This is a sad day for democracy. This is a sad day as far as the functioning of the parliament is concerned. She's called this a temporary setback, but saying that the voter will give the final answer come the general elections of 2024. Our colleagues continue to be with us. Arunama has been patiently waiting. Now, Arunama, the point that is being made from Mahua Moitra to Mamata Banerjee is that a report that went above 500 pages, how did the members manage to read or understand the depth of it in a span of 30 minutes? That already showed that this was a process that was biased from the start.
Much before the deliberations began, wrote to the speaker and said that give us time to actually study the report. On the floor of the house also, Manish Tiwari, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, they all countered the way the government was pushing through it. But the speaker and the Parliamentary Affairs Minister both cited precedents that when the cash for vote scam happened, the report was laid before the parliamentarians, it was adopted and action was taken all in the same day. And Somnath Chatterjee, Pranab Mukherjee were quoted, senior parliamentarians who have laid out that precedent. So whatever now the opposition might say, I think their politics will now have to happen outside the house. They've made that show of solidarity. Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, Mahua Moitra, they've all walked together towards the Gandhi statue, making a point to showcase that they are all against this alleged injustice. But on the floor of the house, the deed is done. Now, Mahua Moitra will have to go back if she gets it.
She's indignant about it, and we are all very agitated about this, because today what happened in Parliament, as Didi said, that democracy has been killed, it has been murdered. The person did not get a chance to defend herself. The honourable member Mahua Moitra, against whom these two allegations were, she did not get a chance to defend herself, and it was just a circus, a circus which was happening in Lok Sabha, because it was it was all planned. Just look at the chronology. Just these 2 days, what the Union Minister Giriraj Singh had said about women. You know, his remarks about women, which were so distasteful and so derogatory. So for them it comes very easy that you have to humiliate women and then anybody who stands up, you must have to demean that woman. And that is why what happened with Mahua Moitra is also that they had to take this ultimate step, thinking that this will shut her up.
We've seen Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi beside Mahua Moitra. So do you think that, this is a very positive step by Congress and India Alliance again seen together?
Yes, again, as Didi has again said that India Alliance is together, and they have shown solidarity vis-a-vis this regarding Mahua Moitra, and we all will work together, and this cannot happen. I mean, democracy needs to be back on track. You see, these people are taking it off the track, and the way this was discussed, the hurriedness of the process was just thrown to the winds. The person, Mr.
We in fact have Farooq Abdullah joining us here on CNN News 18. So appreciate you speaking to us here at CNN News 18. Your first reaction of Mahua Moitra being expelled as a Member of Parliament. Can you hear me, sir? Farooq sir, can you hear me? Okay, we'll try and re-establish that connection with Farooq Abdullah and try and get his reaction. But multiple reactions coming in from the opposition, and it's interesting that all the members of the opposition bloc, the INDI opposition bloc, now seem to be standing strongly behind the expelled Mahua Moitra as a Member of Parliament from the TMC, because the point that the opposition is making that this is a blot as far as functioning of democracy is concerned, this is a blot as far as functioning of Parliament is concerned. The opposition just hasn't been given a fair chance. In response to this, members of the Ethics Committee now saying that Mahua Moitra in fact was given a fair chance when she was asked to present her side of the story in front of the Ethics Committee, but it was she who in fact decided to walk out. What was also important to note was the reaction that was coming in from Mamata Banerjee, who went on to say that they will continue to stand behind Mahua Moitra. It is just a temporary setback, but come the general elections of 2024, in fact, it will be the voter who will give the final answer to the BJP. It's also important at this point to go through the fine print of what essentially were the findings, the recommendations of the ethics panel and the report that in fact was tabled earlier in the day. Let's also bring in our colleague Pallavi, who is joining us. Pallavi, what is interesting, and you can tell me if I'm fair to understand as far as this analysis is concerned, all the reactions that are coming in from the opposition bloc, none of them seem to be mentioning the fine print of this particular case. But the larger point that they're making is that this is a blot as far as the functioning of Parliament is concerned, which essentially has no place for the voice of the opposition.
You know, the main point on which, Ridhima, the India Front Alliance was formed was because we all need to come together, because this is the idea of India. The idea of India being one India, one in which everyone has the freedom to express themselves, and also the fact is that no discrimination is made on anyone on any grounds. Now, Mahua Moitra's incident, disqualification of Rahul Gandhi, in fact, I still remember when Rahul Gandhi was disqualified, one of the first opposition leaders who spoke in his favor was actually Mamata Banerjee. Today, that's also one reason why the Congress wants to be seen by the side of Rahul Gandhi, by the side of Mahua Moitra as well. And therefore, the point which they are going to be making consistently is to the voters that there is a pattern as far as the BJP is concerned. Anyone who questions the Prime Minister, either they face ED, CBI, or they are arrested or they are suspended, and they don't have a place in Parliament.
Pallavi, we'll just request you to stay on with us. We also have our other colleagues joining us. Aman is also joining us on the broadcast. Arunima is also joining us on the broadcast. Aman, taking on from what Pallavi was pointing out, and she is right, that's essentially the point that's being made by the opposition, that there is no space for the opposition to have their voice or disagreements as far as the functioning of the Parliament is concerned. It's either the misuse of the central agencies like the ED or the CBI, or you see expulsions like these. Why was Mahua Moitra or anybody else from the opposition not given a fair chance to speak?
Well, the government's stance is very clear that Mahua Moitra was given the chance to speak. The precedence and the convention is that, as Om Birla, the speaker, also pointed out in the discussion today, that is when the committee meets. When the ethics committee met, Mahua Moitra was summoned. She was asked to put her side. She did put her side, but then she walked out of the meeting citing that she was asked inappropriate questions. Now, the transcript of the same meeting has now been put out by the ethics committee as part of its annexure. So it's everybody to see what exactly was said by either party. Today, what opposition is really perturbed about today, I think, is the point that Mahua Moitra was not allowed to speak in Parliament today. So the half-an-hour discussion, we saw TMC Sudeep Bandyopadhyay clearly say that let the TMC allotted time be given to just Mahua Moitra, let her speak for 10 minutes. But I think the government came very well prepared. Prahlad Joshi, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, clearly cited precedents and the tradition. He said in 2005, when the cash for votes scam had happened, then Speaker Mr. Somnath Chatterjee did not give a chance to the 10 expelled members to speak in Parliament. The place for the person who is being expelled, the place for that person to speak is before the Ethics Committee, not before the Parliament. So clearly, I think the opposition was insistent that Mahua Moitra be given a chance to speak. Adhir Chaudhary, in fact, wrote a letter to the Speaker just before the discussion was taken up that give us 3 to 4 days to study the report. So the opposition also a bit miffed that they've not been given time to study this 400-page plus report, and straight away Mahua Moitra has been expelled. But I think the government was very, very clear. Government wanted to set an example of Mahua Moitra. The government thinks that, this violation that she did, sharing her login details with a businessman, plus a businessman who settled abroad, who was accessing her login from foreign shores, is a very, very serious matter. It's a serious violation of parliamentary procedure. It's also a matter of national security, and the entire the bribery matter which is being spoken about will be looked at by the agencies. But I think the parliamentary committee, the ethics committee, was very clear in its opinion that Mahua Moitra should be expelled. And that is the reason that on the same day that the report has been tabled, the motion was moved, and we saw she also being expelled from the parliament. The BJP clearly saying that, it was in no mood to give any concessions to Mahua Moitra today. And though the opposition is now saying that, she did not get a chance to speak, the BJP is very clear that when she had a chance to speak, she chose to walk out of the committee meeting.
Okay, Aman, we'll just request you to stay on with us. I also want to bring in Arunima back in the conversation. Arunima, I was speaking to Sushmita Dev of the TMC a short while ago, and Sushmita Dev has been saying that yes, Mahua Moitra has been expelled, but where is the real evidence? Two questions that were raised by her, that everybody is saying there was quid pro quo. The ethics committee has failed to get any evidence. Even the evidence that has been mentioned by Darshan Hiranandani, the committee doesn't mention it in its report. Could you talk to us about the fine print as far as the evidence that has been mentioned in the report?
Yes, it all began with the hashtag cash for query. Eventually, it has come down to gifts being given and favors being given by way of travel, payments, etc. So, the Ethics Committee in its report, if you see the recommendations, says that there should be a further inquiry. It is not within the purview of the Ethics Committee really to look at the money trail, and that's why the Central Bureau of Investigation is seized of the matter. Whether they will find enough evidence to lodge an FIR, I have been speaking to Enforcement Directorate officials as well. They say our role will come in only if corruption is made out. Once corruption charge is established, we'll look if there is any money laundering charge or any foreign exchange violation charge that is made out. So all of that has been left to investigating agencies. What the Ethics Committee has concluded is that there is acceptance even if it was 2 scarves that was gifted to her. If in lieu of those 2 scarves, questions were asked, then that is not the way a member of parliament is supposed to operate. You're supposed to ask questions in question hour because it's in public interest, not because somebody is giving you any kind of favor in cash or otherwise. Mahua Moitra on her part argued it right from the start that sharing of credentials is not something that I am the only one doing. Every member of parliament takes the help of parliamentary assistants, etc. But the fact, and Pallavi has been repeatedly underlining it, that they found out that on a particular day login is being used from 3 different places: Delhi, West Bengal, and also New Jersey. So how is that happening? Clearly, your parliamentary assistant can't be at 3 places, and you can't be at 3 places on the same day. Somebody else is using it.
For interrupting, we're getting a reaction coming in from Prahlad Joshi. Let's listen in.
पहले 12 बजे रिपोर्ट पेश किया गया और रिपोर्ट पेश करने के बाद तुरंत 2 मिनट में पोर्टल पर, जो अभी पेपरलेस हमने ई-विधान पोर्टल के थ्रू पेपरलेस किया है, तुरंत हमने अपलोड किया है। ऑपरेशनल पार्ट जो है वो 15-20 पेज का है, तो मुझे भी 15-20 पेज वो जब प्रेजेंट हुआ तब भी मैं भी पढ़ा। और दूसरी बात, ये जो प्रेसिडेंट है 2005 में जब 10 एमपी को निकाला गया था, निष्कासित किया गया था, तब भी रिपोर्ट उसी दिन पेश किया था, उसी दिन चर्चा हुआ था, वो भी 10 एमपी के लिए, जहाँ तो वो जस्ट स्ट्रिंज ऑपरेशन था। एक्चुअली उसमें कई लोग पैसा दिया नहीं दिया उसके लिए उस चर्चा में मैं नहीं जा रहा हूँ। मैं ये कह रहा हूँ इट वॉज ए स्ट्रिंज ऑपरेशन, बट वेयर एज इसमें जो घटना घटी है उसने तो स्वयं उन्होंने स्वीकारा है, मुझे ऐसे ब्रांड का स्कार्फ मिला है, ऐसे ब्रांड का लिपस्टिक मिला है, उन्होंने तो इनकार नहीं किया है। एंड शी हैज़ ट्रैवल्ड मोर देन 36 टाइम टू वेरियस अदर प्लेसेस। इधर से अगर समझो टोक्यो गए, टोक्यो से कहाँ गए वो तो आंकड़ा नहीं है, लेकिन टोक्यो तक ऐसे इधर से जो फॉरेन डेस्टिनेशन गए 36 टाइम गया है। और हिरानंदानी ने स्वीकार कर दिया है कि ये तो इनका पूरा जर्नी तो मैंने स्पॉन्सर किया हूँ। इसके बावजूद भी पश्चाताप व्यक्त करने से पेपरलेस किया है, तुरंत हमने अपलोड किया है। ऑपरेशनल पार्ट जो है वो 15-20 पेज का है, तो मुझे भी 15-20 पेज वो जब प्रेजेंट हुआ तब भी मैं भी पढ़ा। और दूसरी बात, ये जो प्रेसिडेंट है 2005 में जब 10 एमपीओ को निकाला गया था, निष्कासित किया गया था, तब भी रिपोर्ट उसी दिन पेश किया था, उसी दिन चर्चा हुआ था, वो भी 10 एमपी के लिए, जहाँ तो वो जस्ट स्ट्रिंज ऑपरेशन था। एक्चुअली उसमें कई लोग पैसा दिया नहीं दिया उसके लिए उस चर्चा में मैं नहीं जा रहा हूँ। मैं ये कह रहा हूँ इट वॉज ए स्ट्रिंज ऑपरेशन, बट वेयर एज इसमें जो घटना घटी है उसने तो स्वयं उन्होंने स्वीकारा है, मुझे ऐसे ब्रांड का स्कार्फ मिला है, ऐसे ब्रांड का लिपस्टिक मिला है, इन्होंने तो इनकार नहीं किया है। एंड शी हैज़ ट्रैवल्ड मोर देन 36 टाइम टू वेरियस अदर प्लेसेस। इधर से अगर समझो टोक्यो गए, टोक्यो से कहाँ गए वो तो आंकड़ा नहीं है, लेकिन टोक्यो तक ऐसे इधर से जो फॉरेन डेस्टिनेशन गए 36 टाइम गया है। और हिरानंदानी ने स्वीकार कर दिया है कि ये तो इनका पूरा जर्नी तो मैंने स्पॉन्सर किया हूँ। इसके बावजूद भी पश्चाताप व्यक्त करने से बजाय तो ये चैलेंज करते ही क्या है। 2005 में 10 एमपी खड़े हुए थे, रिक्वेस्ट कर रहे थे, तो हमको भी 5 मिनट बोलने का मौका दीजिए। तब के अध्यक्ष जो लोकसभा के अध्यक्ष थे उन्होंने निर्णय दे दिया कि आप तो एक्यूज्ड है, आपको हम इधर बात करने का मौका नहीं देंगे। आप कमिटी के सामने पेश हुए थे, उधर जो आपने विषय रखना था आपने रख दिया है। तो जो भी मैं और एक क्वेश्चन उन लोगों से पूछना चाहता हूं जो अभी अराउंड 60-65 प्रश्न पूछा है, 4 सेक्टर पे पूछा है, एक बार भी अपने लोकसभा कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी के बारे में एक प्रश्न नहीं पूछा है। नॉट इवन वन शी हैज आस्क्ड द क्वेश्चन अबाउट हर कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी। ये सब क्या कहलाता है जी? क्या बात कर रहे हो? आपको कम से कम पश्चाताप व्यक्त करके ठीक है गलती हो, इतना ये स्कार्फ दिया, वो 1.5-2 लाख का स्कार्फ, ये सब उन्होंने स्वीकारा है और कमेटी के सामने में भी उनका इनकार नहीं किया है। और यूजर आईडी जो हम पासवर्ड और यूजर आईडी के बारे में, तो अगर आप अपने क्वेश्चन ड्राफ्ट करते हैं तो भी लोड करने के लिए ठीक है, आपके मैंने पीओ को दिया था, लेकिन जो दुबई में बैठे उनको देते हैं आप, तो और बोलते हैं तो मेरा अन्याय हो गया।
एक बात सर, जब उनको एक्सपेल कर दिया गया, जब बाहर आए सोनिया गांधी के साथ तमाम विपक्ष के नेताओं के साथ गांधी मूर्ति पर गई, उनका कहना था कि एक महिला को सदन से बाहर करने के लिए सब किया गया क्योंकि वो महिला एक बिजनेस हाउस के बारे में लगातार बोल रही थी जिसकी करीबी है सरकार से, बीजेपी से।
नहीं, ये महिला के विषय नहीं है, वो जो पूछ रहे थे और उनके कॉम्पिटिटर के बारे में पूछ रहे थे, उनके कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी के बारे में पूछ रहे थे, और क्वेश्चन पैसे के लिए कुछ गिफ्ट के लिए पूछा गया, ये तो सिद्ध हो गया है, स्वयं स्वीकारा है। और उन्होंने एफिडेविट में काउंसिलेट के सामने बोला है मैंने एफिडेविट करके दिया हूँ। इससे सबूत के बड़ा सबूत क्या चाहिए?
प्रहलाद जी, एक सवाल आता है कि क्या ये महुआ मोइत्रा पर जिस तरह से वाकआउट हुआ, पूरा अपोजिशन एक रहा, INDA गठबंधन, आपको नहीं लगा कि इस मसले पर और एक होकर आपके लिए और बड़ी चुनौती बन जाएगी? राजनीतिक मुद्दा बना।
अरे भाई, ये तो राजनीतिक मुद्दा क्या बनाएंगे? मैं तो आपको बता रहा हूँ, बहुत लोग अभी तो सोनिया गांधी किसके लिए गए? सोनिया गांधी इसीलिए शी वेंट देयर। तो अभी जो इंडी गठबंधन में ममता बनर्जी इनके बारे में जो बयान दिया है, जेडीयू वाले जो नेता, जेडीयू का नेता नीतीश कुमार जी ने जो रुख अपनाया है, इसलिए उनके साथ जाने का कोशिश किया है। लेकिन तो जो भी करे कुछ नहीं होने वाला है। और इसके साथ ही साथ अंदर में तृणमूल कांग्रेस के बहुत एमपी सहित बहुत लोग दे आर वेरी हैप्पी अबाउट आवर एक्सपल्शन.
Viewers, this is of course an ongoing story, and we are going to now speak to two individuals who were on this ethics panel. One is a Congress Member of Parliament, Mr. V. Vaithalingam, and the other one is Aparajita Sarangi, who was also today speaking in the House. She is of course an MP from the Bharatiya Janata Party. Mr. Vaithalingam, thank you. And also Ms. Sarangi, thank you for speaking to CNN News 18. I want to begin by asking, why is the Congress party standing with Mahua Moitra, even though A, she doesn't belong to your party, and B, she has been indicted by a report formulated after deliberations for having betrayed the national interest, sir?
Do I need to speak?
No, Mr. Vaithalingam, you go first. Why is the Congress party standing with Mahua Moitra?
Actually, you can see the new parliament wanted to start a women reservation bill. The Honorable Prime Minister giving the assurance for the women folk for 1/3 of the reservation for the women folk in the parliamentary system and the assembly system also. That is, they are giving the Nari Shakti. So, at the same time, they want to curtail the Nari Shakti by disqualifying or removing from the parliament Mahua Moitra. That is the main issue. And another thing, we are totally for injustice, those who are having that. If any injustice taken place, we are raising our voice. This is a Congress culture. That is why we are supporting her.
Ms. Sarangi, how do you respond to this? How do you respond to this? Nari Shakti is being curbed and curtailed by your government, says Mr. Vaithalingam, and also there is an injustice being perpetrated. He's making it more rhetorical. What are the facts with which you can counter him?
See, let's refrain from making the entire issue political. There is no politics around it. Now also, let us not talk in terms of man or woman. She was a parliamentarian. She was a member of the Lok Sabha as I am. I am a woman. I am also a parliamentarian. As a parliamentarian, I am supposed to go by the parliamentary procedures. There has to be a conduct which is ethical. And you know, I cannot behave in a manner which is unbecoming of a parliamentarian. So she has demonstrated unethical conduct. She went against the parliamentary procedures, and therefore this kind of situation happened. Now, I am a member of the Parliamentary Standing Committee, and so is my friend from the Congress who is with us today. Now, there were 3 sittings. The complainants had been invited. The complainants were heard at length, Mr. Dehadrai and Mr. Nishikant Dubeji, and thereafter Madam Mahua Moitra had been invited. She was given opportunity of being heard. In fact, for full 1 hour, she spoke about her personal life. And it was our responsibility as a member of the committee or members of the committee to hear her out. And we did so with tremendous patience. And the chairman also kept on asking questions. She refused to answer many of the questions. I must say with all conviction at my command that all the questions pertain to the content of the affidavit which was sworn. A sworn affidavit, sworn before the Deputy Consulate General in Dubai. Now here, she was so much, she suddenly grew angry, she was fuming and fretting, and she staged a walkout using unparliamentary words for the chairman of the committee. I think that particular day, if she would have stayed back, if she would have stated her things in a cool manner, whatever she wanted to say would have been registered properly. She had no patience to do that. And thereafter, we went through the affidavit and we submitted our report. And today, I must say, Honorable Speaker, following due procedure, allowed everyone to put forth his or her viewpoints. And that is why, ultimately at the end, two members of the committee, Girdhari Yadav ji and I, was asked to speak, and we spoke out our mind. And I think the law has to take its course. Whatever was wrong, which is unethical is unethical. And let me say, whosoever is standing by Mahua Moitra ji today is not actually supporting her. They are demonstrating their own unethical conduct. They are standing by what is unethical.
Okay, Mr. Vaithalingam, let me ask you this. This is a factual question. You're a member of parliament from the Congress. Your own fellow colleague, member of parliament, Praneeth Kaur, she also came out and voted against Miss Mahua Moitra. Now,
actually,
that is why this report was adopted by the narrowest margin. Now, why would she have done this if this was about perhaps denigrating women?
Actually, I want to explain in such a way. On the day, the last day of the proceedings, when the voting is taken place, before that, the chairman tells us that after the inquiry is over, after the investigation is over, then we can sit together and discuss about all the points, then we can take a final decision. But unfortunately, chairman is not hearing us. Even the Mahua Moitra case, we are not allowed to question the Mahua Moitra. Chairman only asking all the questions. So 1 hour time, only chairman is taking the full time. We are not allowed. Even Sarangi also not allowed. So no member raising their questions against the Mahua Moitra. That is the situation is taken place. Even the last day, before, when the chairman is initially give a promise that after the proceedings is over, then we can sit with all the members, then we can finalize our report. But unfortunately, it is not taken place. When the last day meeting, it is only 2 minutes. When the chairman is entered in the house room and started with the proceedings, they put up a resolution and voted for it. They are not listening our voice.
Okay,
that is the major question. Why they are rushing to it?
So you're saying due procedure was not followed?
One point. One point. Another point, that Pritam Gaur, how she is behaving. Even she is not a Congress member. Even though technically he belongs to Congress party, already he is reviving because of local conditions. When I asked her, so much of pressure on me, what I can do? That is, what is the pressure? You can only ask the lady. Then only she can explain what is the pressure. So actually the member is voted because of the pressure. And another one I want to explain. Even it is equal. The chairman says, chairman having 2 votes. One as a member and chairman have the another member. So one member having the 2 votes. So what is the meaning?
No, but Mr. Vaithalingam, I don't understand this. You are now claiming that Praneeth Kaur was under pressure. Why didn't you come out with this earlier? No, why didn't you come out with this earlier?
Already I told. Actually, on the day, the last day of the meeting, I explained she is under the pressure.
This is the first time I am hearing this. Aparajita Sarangi, let me ask you. The charge that is being made by Mr. Vaithalingam is that Mahua Moitra was denied, and this is the basis of jurisprudence, was denied an opportunity to clear her own name, to testify. And neither were the complainants cross-examined.
See, there were 3 sittings, as I said. In fact, one full sitting was devoted to listening to Mahua Moitra ji. I must say this. And we gave her the opportunity of being heard. She spoke for 1 hour initially about herself, about her life, which was good. And we noted down all the points. And thereafter, when the questions were asked pertaining to the content of the affidavit, she lost her cool. And she was so impatient that she decided not to stay within the walls of the room in which all of us were sitting. So she staged a walkout. and she used unparliamentary words for the chairman of the committee. Now again there was unethical conduct, not becoming of a parliamentarian. Whatever she did was unbecoming of a parliamentarian. So, we cannot support something which is unethical, which is unparliamentary in nature, and that is what we had been harping on all through. And the committee went for voting 3 times, I must say this, 3 times. And every time the majority, in fact, did not support her, when the majority went against her. So I think everything was looked into, the procedures were followed, all people were heard, the affidavit was gone through, the sworn affidavit was read, and then thereafter the reports were sent, and the report was debated upon in the Lok Sabha today, and then the Lok Sabha decided to expel Mahua Moitra for the rest of the term. That's it.
Okay, very quickly, Mr. Vaithalingam, it's funny that you should say that this was a bit of a witch hunt, because you see, Mahua Moitra has accepted that she shared her login with a businessman. She doesn't deny that he framed questions on her behalf on her portal. And 3, that she also,
please, sir, please.
That she also,
I want to clarify.
Yeah, you want to clarify.
She is not sharing the ID for the businessman. She is using their office to put a questions. And there is no bar.
But Mr. Vaithalingam,
no rules in the
you can't give your ID to a third party who is not part of either your secretariat. And if she was using his office, excuse me, sir, how is it that when her login was used, she was nowhere near the vicinity of that location? She was in another continent, not once but several times.
You can see when you log in, there is a password is there, OTP is there. When the OTP is given by the concerned party, it is agreed that she is putting a question, not other person is putting their question. That is the basic
sir,
question.
Small correction, Mr. Vaithalingam. Small correction. I just want to say that the report submitted by... Okay, please, go ahead.
You say, I can explain the case, then you can put a question. Instead of sharing the ID and password, that is a different. It is using their office to put a questions. Using the office is totally different. And sharing the ID and password is totally different. Because you can see, if I give a password and user ID and password to somebody, they are putting their own question is totally different. It is the fault. If I share my details and put a questions on my willingness, it is okay.
I don't know, sir. I have never heard of this arrangement. I have never heard of somebody accepting gifts and then that person. So even you are agreeing that happened. Okay, one second. Aprijita Sarangi, let me throw this back at you. This is an important point. Mahua Moitra hasn't really denied any of the charges. She has also flaunted some of the gifts that she got from this businessman, apparently before all of you in that committee hearing. She's also brought them to Parliament, etc., and said, what is wrong? I'm a woman of means. What difference does it make? How do you make this correlation? Mr. Vaithalingam is saying, look, she was just using the office premises. A quick response to that.
So I can only say that we have examined the matter and we have suggested a couple of things to the Lok Sabha, which all the proposals were accepted. One, of course, was the expulsion, and number 2 was the cash trail, the money trail, the exchange of gifts, etc., should be looked into by an appropriate agency to be decided by the central government. So I think the government of India would decide upon the investigating agency and they would actually look into the trail of money. So I think I am not the person to comment on that. As a member of the committee, as a colleague of hers, I should not be commenting on that. Let the investigative agency decide and let the investigative agency submit its findings before the government of India.
So this is going to get more trying and difficult for Mahua Moitra. What we are being told now, viewers, is that this particular report recommends that a probe should be conducted to determine criminality. And if that does somehow materialize, this is going to end up in criminal charges. This could get mighty serious. I'll leave it at that, viewers. This has been an interesting conversation. Of course, we can keep going around in circles, but I'll take a short break.
Investigation of the unethical conduct of Shri Mahua Moitra MP laid on the table of the House on 8th December 2023.
एक मिनट सबको. Okay. We don't have the copy of the motion. We don't have the supplementary माननीय सदस्यगण, आज जिस विषय पर विचार किया जा रहा है वो विचार और प्रस्ताव जो माननीय संसदीय कार्य मंत्री ने रखा है वो हम सबके लिए पीड़ादायक भी है, लेकिन कई बार ऐसे अवसर आते हैं जब इस सभा को अपने प्रति तो राष्ट्र के प्रति अपने कर्तव्यों के निर्वहन के लिए उचित निर्णय लेने होते हैं। माननीय सदस्यगण, संसदीय लोकतंत्र नियमों उच्च मर्यादाओं से चलता है। ये सदन हमारे देश की सर्वोच्च पीठ है। पिछले 75 वर्षों की हमारी लोकतांत्रिक यात्रा में हमारे सदन की, हमारे लोकतंत्र की एक ऊंची मर्यादा स्थापित हुई है। पूरा देश उच्च संसदीय परंपराओं के लिए हमारी ओर देखता है। इन्हीं उच्च परंपराओं की बदौलत हमारे लोकतंत्र की पूरे विश्व में एक विशिष्ट पहचान है। माननीय सदस्यगण, पिछले 75 वर्षों की गौरवशाली यात्रा में हमारा लोकतंत्र निरंतर सशक्त और परिपक्व हुआ है। जनता के बीच हमारी विशिष्टता लगातार बढ़ी है। जनता ने हमें इसलिए चुनकर भेजा है कि हम सदन में बैठकर उनके विकास के लिए, उनकी कल्याण के लिए, उनकी आशाओं के लिए, उनकी आकांक्षाओं को इस सदन में बैठकर पूरा कर सकें। लेकिन हमारे लोकतंत्र की इस गौरवशाली यात्रा में समय समय पर हमारे ऐसे अवसर भी आए हैं जब हमने इस सदन की गरिमा और प्रतिष्ठा, सदन के उच्च मापदंडों को बनाए रखने के लिए उचित निर्णय भी किए हैं। इस सदन के उच्च मर्यादा और लोकतांत्रिक मूल्य ऐसे मूल सिद्धांत है जिसमें किसी प्रकार का कोई समझौता नहीं किया जा सकता। ऐसे में हमारा दायित्व बनता है कि हम शुद्ध अंतःकरण से, ईमानदारी और कर्तव्यनिष्ठा से इन सिद्धांतों की रक्षा के लिए अपने दायित्वों का निर्वहन करें। हम अपने उच्च आचरण में शुद्धता रखें, शुचिता रखें, अपने व्यवहार को से किसी प्रकार का कोई को कष्ट न हो, हमारे व्यवहार से, हमारे कार्य में कोई संदेह न हो, हमारा आचरण ऐसा न हो जिससे कि लोकतंत्र की उच्च मर्यादा और प्रतिष्ठा को कोई ठेस पहुँचे। इस सदन की विशिष्टता और उच्च मापदंड को बनाए रखने, उन्हें संवर्धित करना इस सदन के सदस्य रूप में हम सबका सामूहिक और सर्वोच्च दायित्व है। माननीय सदस्यगण, मैं समझता हूँ हम सब यहाँ पर जिस बात पर विचार करने जा रहे हैं वह हम सब के सामूहिकता से विचार कर रहे हैं, सहानुभूतिपूर्वक विचार कर रहे हैं, संवेदना के साथ विचार कर रहे हैं। हमें किसी भी सदन में किसी भी सदस्य को, मेरी कोशिश रहती है न मैं सदन से उसको निलंबित करूं, कभी कोई कार्रवाई करूं। मेरी तो यही कोशिश रहती है कि सभी सदस्यों को पर्याप्त अवसर, पर्याप्त समय मिले। समय समय पर मैंने कोशिश भी की कि सदन की मर्यादा बनी रहे, और उस मर्यादा बनाने के लिए कुछ कठोर निर्णय भी करने पड़े तो सदन की मर्यादा के लिए करने पड़े। और इसीलिए आज भी हम जो भी चर्चा कर रहे हैं उसमें मर्यादा, सदन की गरिमा हम सबके लिए सबसे ऊपर है। ऐसी परिस्थिति में हम सबको इस सदन के गौरव, सम्मान, नैतिकता और अस्मिता को अक्षुण्ण रखना हम सबकी सामूहिक जिम्मेदारी है। मुझे आशा है इस विषय पर जब हम चर्चा करें तो सदन की मर्यादा, उच्च कोटि की मर्यादा और पूरे देश में इस सदन के प्रति लोगों का विश्वास, भरोसा बना रहे और व्यक्तिगत रूप से भी जिन लोगों ने हमें चुनकर भेजा है, हम व्यक्तिगत आचरण में भी हमारा व्यवहार ऐसा होना चाहिए कि हम लोकतंत्र की उच्च मर्यादा को कायम रख सकें। मैं नियम 316(e)(2) के विषय पर अधिकतम आधे घंटे की चर्चा की अनुमति देता हूं।
Investigation of the unethical conduct of Shri Mahua Moitra MP laid on the table of the House on 8th December 2023.
एक मिनट सबको। Okay.
We don't have the copy of the motion. We don't have the supplementary motion.
माननीय सदस्यगण, आज जिस विषय पर विचार किया जा रहा है
Welcome back. Thanks a lot for staying with us. And we continue with our rolling coverage of the big story that has come in from the Parliament just a short while ago. TMC MP Mahua Moitra has been expelled from the Lok Sabha. The ethics panel tabled its report on the TMC MP earlier today. The report made multiple recommendations as far as the expulsion of Mahua Moitra is concerned. The Parliament then voted in favour of that motion and Mahua Moitra thus was expelled. Mahua, reacting after expulsion, said there was no evidence against her and claimed that the move was unfair. The TMC Supremo and West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee also reacted soon after and said that Mahua Moitra was not given any opportunity to speak and that BJP's political vendetta led to her being expelled. Meanwhile, several other leaders from the opposition have also gone on to say that they stand with Mahua Moitra, but the members of the ethic panel continued to defend their move. Let's take a look at some reactions coming in.
This Lok Sabha has also seen the weaponization of a parliamentary committee. Ironically, the Ethics Committee, which was set up to serve as a moral compass for members. Instead, it has been abused egregiously today to do exactly what it was never meant to do, which is to bulldoze the opposition and become another weapon to talk us into submission. This committee and this report has broken every rule in the book. In essence, you are finding me guilty of breaching a code of ethics that does not exist. The committee is punishing me for engaging in a practice that is routine, accepted and encouraged in the House. The findings are based solely on the written testimonies of two private citizens whose versions contradict each other in material terms, none of whom I was allowed to cross-examine.
मैंने ऑलरेडी बोल दिया ना, दिस इज वेंडेटा पॉलिटिक्स ऑफ बीजेपी. आई हैव ऑलरेडी मेंशन्ड दे किल द डेमोक्रेसी, दे डिच द पीपल. Within half an hour, every political party has been discussed. 2-3 minutes, 2-3 minutes, 2-3 minutes. And now they have taken a decision. And you left 495 pages. And you didn't allow even the victims to take her own stand for her self-defense. This is unfortunate. This is really unfortunate. It cannot be acceptable. It is unacceptable. It is injustice. It is irreparable. And Mahua will win the case, win the battle next. And see, the people will give the befitting reply to BJP. I believe so. Politically, we will fight. And people will fight. People will give the justice. I believe so. They will be defeated in the next election.
This is unfair, this is unjust, this is murder of democracy. That's what Mamata Banerjee has said after the expulsion of Mahua Moitra. Our colleagues are back with us. Pallavi Ghosh joining us, Arunima also joining us. Arunima, the point that is now being reiterated by multiple leaders within the opposition, and that was said by Mahua as well, that everybody has been calling this quid pro quo. But where is the evidence whether there was any sort of money that was exchanged? As far as the gifts are concerned, she herself has come on record and accepted that she did take because she considered Darshan Hiranandani as a friend. So where is the evidence as far as this cash for query row is concerned?
Yes, so the Ethics Committee has left that to the CBI and to the Enforcement Directorate if required. CBI has not registered an FIR as yet, but they do say they are looking into the matter, so some kind of an inquiry is on. Prahlad Joshi, when he spoke, Parliamentary Affairs Minister, he said Mahua herself has accepted that at least 2 scarves, very expensive scarves, 1 lipstick was gifted to her in return for asking these questions. He also said that why are all questions related to one particular corporate? How come this member of parliament has not managed to ask a single question related to her own constituency? So those are the things that the Treasury side is underlining. But the opposition is vehement, saying that you have not followed the process of natural justice. There have been no instance of cross-examination of the person based on whose affidavit this entire quote-unquote witch hunt is being carried out. Even on the floor of the House, Mahua Moitra and TMC sought permission to allow her to speak. That was denied. So the opposition, you heard Mamata Banerjee there, saying that this will now be fought in People's Court. They know they don't have the numbers in the current Lok Sabha, but they're definitely hoping that in the next Lok Sabha elections, which are due in the next 6 months, this will be an electoral issue, at least in West Bengal.
Pallavi, coming to you, what does this mean for Mahua Moitra's political career? While as of now the opposition is standing behind her, Mamata Banerjee has described this as a temporary setback. But as far as Mahua Moitra's own political ambitions and career is concerned, what are the options available with her? What's next for her?
So she's not yet convicted, so she's just expelled, which means she can always contest elections for 2024 in case she's not disqualified based on a conviction. I think given the situation and the scenes that we saw today and a full-on support coming in from Mamata Banerjee, who also played the woman card, who also said that she was actually just being politically witch hunt, it is very clear that the TMC is for now very much in a mood to give her the ticket to contest from Nadia, that is Krishnanagar, which is her constituency. So as far as the political future is concerned, Ridhima, that doesn't seem to be over. Disqualifications often become the bouncing board for strengthening your political resolve, also your politics. We saw Rahul Gandhi doing that, where he changed his Twitter tag to call it himself a disqualified MP, and wherever he would go, he would make the point that the only reason he has been thrown out of parliament is because he asked questions of the Prime Minister and of the government. I suspect Mahua Moitra is going to do that. We are looking at Lok Sabha elections, which is just 4 to 5 months away. So it's not that there's a long period of parliament session. Effectively, this is the biggest parliament session. The next is going to be a short duration one, which is a vote on account on the budget. So therefore, in terms of legislative business, almost everything has been done. So politically speaking, I don't see a dim future for her in terms of contesting elections. Rather, she's going to use this opportunity to try and bounce back and to fight her battles.
Okay, Pallavi and Arunima, thanks a lot for getting us all those details. This is a big story that we'll continue to track here on CNN News 18. For now, we do have to slip into a very short break.
वो विचार और प्रस्ताव जो माननीय संसदीय कार्य मंत्री ने रखा है, वो हम सबके लिए पीड़ादायक भी है, लेकिन कई बार ऐसे अवसर आते हैं जब इस सभा को अपने प्रति, राष्ट्र के प्रति अपने कर्तव्यों के निर्वहन के लिए उचित निर्णय लेने होते हैं। माननीय सदस्यगण, संसदीय लोकतंत्र नियमों, उच्च मर्यादाओं से चलता है। ये सदन हमारे देश की सर्वोच्च पीठ है। पिछले 75 वर्षों की हमारी लोकतांत्रिक यात्रा में हमारे सदन की, हमारे लोकतंत्र की एक ऊंची मर्यादा स्थापित हुई है। पूरा देश उच्च संसदीय परंपराओं के लिए हमारी ओर देखता है। इन्हीं उच्च परंपराओं की बदौलत हमारे लोकतंत्र की पूरे विश्व में एक विशिष्ट पहचान है। माननीय सदस्यगण, पिछले 75 वर्षों की गौरवशाली यात्रा में हमारा लोकतंत्र निरंतर सशक्त और परिपक्व हुआ है। जनता के बीच हमारी विशेषता लगातार बढ़ी है। जनता ने हमें इसलिए चुनकर भेजा है कि हम सदन में बैठकर उनके विकास के लिए, उनकी कल्याण के लिए, उनकी आशाओं के लिए, उनकी आकांक्षाओं को इस सदन में बैठकर पूरा कर सकें। लेकिन हमारे लोकतंत्र की इस गौरवशाली यात्रा में समय समय पर हमारे ऐसे अवसर भी आए हैं जब हमने इस सदन की गरिमा और प्रतिष्ठा, सदन के उच्च मापदंडों को बनाए रखने के लिए उचित निर्णय भी किए हैं। इस सदन के उच्च मर्यादा और लोकतांत्रिक मूल्य ऐसे मूल सिद्धांत है जिसमें किसी प्रकार का कोई समझौता नहीं किया जा सकता। ऐसे में हमारा दायित्व बनता है कि हम शुद्ध अंतःकरण से, ईमानदारी और कर्तव्यनिष्ठा से इन सिद्धांतों की रक्षा के लिए अपने दायित्वों का निर्वहन करें। हम अपने उच्च आचरण में शुद्धता रखें, शुचिता रखें, अपने व्यवहार को से किसी प्रकार का कोई को कष्ट न हो, हमारे व्यवहार से, हमारे कार्य में कोई संदेह न हो, हमारा आचरण ऐसा न हो जिससे कि लोकतंत्र की उच्च मर्यादा और प्रतिष्ठा को कोई ठेस पहुँचे। इस सदन की विशेषता और उच्च मापदंड को बनाए रखने, उन्हें संवर्धित करना इस सदन के सदस्य रूप में हम सबका सामूहिक और सर्वोच्च दायित्व है। माननीय सदस्यगण, मैं समझता हूँ हम सब यहाँ पर जिस बात पर विचार करने जा रहे हैं वह हम सब के सामूहिकता से विचार कर रहे हैं, सहानुभूतिपूर्वक विचार कर रहे हैं, संवेदना के साथ विचार कर रहे हैं। हमें किसी भी सदन में किसी भी सदस्य को, मेरी कोशिश रहती है न मैं सदन से उसको निलंबित करूं, कभी कोई कार्रवाई करूं। मेरी तो यही कोशिश रहती है कि सभी सदस्यों को पर्याप्त अवसर, पर्याप्त समय मिले। समय समय पर मैंने कोशिश भी की कि सदन की मर्यादा बनी रहे और उस मर्यादा बनाने के लिए कुछ कठोर निर्णय भी करने पड़े तो सदन की मर्यादा के लिए करने पड़े। और इसीलिए आज भी हम जो भी चर्चा कर रहे हैं उसमें मर्यादा, सदन की गरिमा हम सबके लिए सबसे ऊपर है। ऐसी परिस्थिति में हम सबको इस सदन के गौरव, सम्मान, नैतिकता और अस्मिता को अक्षुण्ण रखना हम सबकी सामूहिक जिम्मेदारी है। मुझे आशा है इस विषय पर जब हम चर्चा करें तो सदन की मर्यादा, उच्च कोटि की मर्यादा और पूरे देश में इस सदन के प्रति लोगों का विश्वास, भरोसा बना रहे और व्यक्तिगत रूप से भी जिन लोगों ने हमें चुनकर भेजा है, हम व्यक्तिगत आचरण में भी हमारा व्यवहार ऐसा होना चाहिए कि हम लोकतंत्र की उच्च मर्यादा को कायम रख सकें। मैं नियम 316(e)(2) के विषय पर अधिकतम आधे घंटे की चर्चा की अनुमति देता हूं।
Investigation of the unethical conduct of Shri Mahua Moitra MP laid on the table of the House on 8th December 2023.
एक मिनट सबको। Okay.
We don't have the copy of the motion. We don't have the supplementary motion.
माननीय सदस्यगण, आज जिस विषय पर विचार किया जा रहा है वो विचार और प्रस्ताव जो माननीय संसदीय कार्य मंत्री ने रखा है वो हम सबके लिए पीड़ादायक भी है। लेकिन कई बार ऐसे अवसर आते हैं जब इस सभा को अपने प्रति, राष्ट्र के प्रति अपने कर्तव्यों के निर्वहन के लिए उचित निर्णय लेने होते हैं। माननीय सदस्यगण, संसदीय लोकतंत्र
Welcome back. Thanks a lot for staying with us. We continue to track the big developments of the story. Mahua Moitra being expelled as a member of parliament. As far as the cash for query row is concerned, some political reactions now coming in.
देखो 2005 की मुद्दा और आज की मुद्दा अलग है। मैंने ये भी उठाया कि चौक और चीज में फर्क होना चाहिए। उस समय स्टिंग ऑपरेशन सारे तथ्य सबूत सामने थे। इस समय एक अंदाज, एक सोच पे करा दिया गया और ये बदले की भावना से किए गए। बिल्कुल साफ है। अब मैं नहीं, 2 दिसंबर को आप देख लो, 2 दिसंबर मैंने जो पत्र लिखी थी उसी की आप थोड़ा पढ़ लो। आज भी सब सांबादिक के पास है। मैं स्पीकर साहब को लिखी थी 2 दिसंबर। आज भी वही राय है मेरा। ये बेबुनियाद तथ्यों पर, आधारहीन और सिर्फ बदले की भावना से ये किए गए हैं, ठीक नहीं।
Mahua Moitra continues to play victim even after expulsion. संजय जायसवाल जी क्या कहना चाहेंगे आप?
She hasn't filed even 1 rupees income tax till 2014, and her income was less than 5 lakh rupees till 2019, and still she has visited 35 countries. She has gone from here to 13 countries and then she visited 35 countries. And she has never taken FCRA clearance that who is the sponsor of these tours. She hasn't informed the speaker. This shows that all these tours were sponsored by Darshan Hiranandani for these questions. And Pranav Mukherjee himself said that it's not question of the person, it's question of dignity of parliament when it came in 2005. And I think that the speaker has upheld that dignity. The whole Parliament has supported it. There was not even one vote against it. That shows that the whole Parliament wholeheartedly supported it.
Well, with that, it's a wrap from my side, but this is the big story that we'll continue to track here on CNN News 18. We're slipping into a very short break. Thanks a lot for watching.
उच्च मर्यादाओं से चलता है। ये सदन हमारे देश की सर्वोच्च पीठ है। पिछले 75 वर्षों की हमारी लोकतांत्रिक यात्रा में हमारे सदन की, हमारे लोकतंत्र की एक ऊंची मर्यादा स्थापित हुई है। पूरा देश उच्च संसदीय परंपराओं के लिए हमारी ओर देखता है। इन्हीं उच्च परंपराओं की बदौलत हमारे लोकतंत्र की पूरे विश्व में एक विशिष्ट पहचान है। माननीय सदस्यगण, पिछले 75 वर्षों की गौरवशाली यात्रा में हमारा लोकतंत्र निरंतर सशक्त और परिपक्व हुआ है। जनता के बीच हमारी विशेषता लगातार बढ़ी है। जनता ने हमें इसलिए चुनकर भेजा है कि हम सदन में बैठकर उनके विकास के लिए, उनकी कल्याण के लिए, उनकी आशाओं के लिए, उनकी आकांक्षाओं को इस सदन में बैठकर पूरा कर सकें। लेकिन हमारे लोकतंत्र की इस गौरवशाली यात्रा में समय समय पर हमारे ऐसे अवसर भी आए हैं जब हमने इस सदन की गरिमा और प्रतिष्ठा, सदन के उच्च मापदंडों को बनाए रखने के लिए उचित निर्णय भी किए हैं। इस सदन के उच्च मर्यादा और लोकतांत्रिक मूल्य ऐसे मूल सिद्धांत है जिसमें किसी प्रकार का कोई समझौता नहीं किया जा सकता। ऐसे में हमारा दायित्व बनता है कि हम शुद्ध अंतःकरण से, ईमानदारी और कर्तव्यनिष्ठा से इन सिद्धांतों की रक्षा के लिए अपने दायित्वों का निर्वहन करें। हम अपने उच्च आचरण में शुद्धता रखें, शुचिता रखें, अपने व्यवहार को से किसी प्रकार का कोई को कष्ट न हो, हमारे व्यवहार से, हमारे कार्य में कोई संदेह न हो, हमारा आचरण ऐसा न हो जिससे कि लोकतंत्र की उच्च मर्यादा और प्रतिष्ठा को कोई ठेस पहुंचे। इस सदन की विशिष्टता और उच्च मापदंड को बनाए रखने, उन्हें संवर्धित करना इस सदन के सदस्य रूप में हम सबका सामूहिक और सर्वोच्च दायित्व है। माननीय सदस्यगण, मैं समझता हूँ हम सब यहाँ पर जिस बात पर विचार करने जा रहे हैं वह हम सब के सामूहिकता से विचार कर रहे हैं, सहानुभूतिपूर्वक विचार कर रहे हैं, संवेदना के साथ विचार कर रहे हैं। हमें किसी भी सदन में किसी भी सदस्य को, मेरी कोशिश रहती है न मैं सदन से उसको निलंबित करूं, कभी कोई कार्रवाई करूं। मेरी तो यही कोशिश रहती है कि सभी सदस्यों को पर्याप्त अवसर, पर्याप्त समय मिले। समय समय पर मैंने कोशिश भी की कि सदन की मर्यादा बनी रहे, और उस मर्यादा बनाने के लिए कुछ कठोर निर्णय भी करने पड़े तो सदन की मर्यादा के लिए करने पड़े। और इसीलिए आज भी हम जो भी चर्चा कर रहे हैं उसमें मर्यादा, सदन की गरिमा हम सबके लिए सबसे ऊपर है। ऐसी परिस्थिति में हम सबको इस सदन के गौरव, सम्मान, नैतिकता और अस्मिता को अक्षुण्ण रखना हम सबकी सामूहिक जिम्मेदारी है। मुझे आशा है इस विषय पर जब हम चर्चा करें तो सदन की मर्यादा, उच्च कोटि की मर्यादा और पूरे देश में इस सदन के प्रति लोगों का विश्वास, भरोसा बना रहे, और व्यक्तिगत रूप से भी जिन लोगों ने हमें चुनकर भेजा है, हम व्यक्तिगत आचरण में भी हमारा व्यवहार ऐसा होना चाहिए कि हम लोकतंत्र की उच्च मर्यादा को कायम रख सकें। मैं नियम 316(e)(2) के विषय पर अधिकतम आधे घंटे की चर्चा की अनुमति देता हूं।
Investigation of the unethical conduct of Shri Mahua Moitra MP laid on the table of the House on 8th December 2023.
एक मिनट सबको। Okay.
We don't have the copy of the motion. We don't have the supplementary
माननीय सदस्यगण, आज जिस विषय पर विचार किया जा रहा है वो विचार और प्रस्ताव जो माननीय संसदीय कार्य मंत्री ने रखा है,
Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching Nation at 5 here on CNN News 18 with me, Poonam Burde. The big story we're tracking at this hour is the one that has grabbed headlines all through the day, and that is Mahua Moitra's fate. She has been expelled as a member of parliament from the Lok Sabha after a heated debate. Amid the pandemonium in Lok Sabha, we saw voting that took place on the motion that was moved by the government as well. She now has been expelled. What we also saw post that is the show of strength by the India bloc, by the opposition alliance members who stood by with Mahua Moitra, calling this discriminatory and unfair. Whether that is going to backfire for them or not, we'll have to wait and watch, because the BJP says that this is an alliance of corrupt standing by the corrupt. Political reactions flying in thick and fast, but first listen in to what exactly transpired inside the Lok Sabha.
This Lok Sabha has also seen the weaponization of a parliamentary committee. Ironically, the ethics committee, which was set up to serve as a moral compass for members. Instead, it has been abused egregiously today to do exactly what it was never meant to do, which is to bulldoze the opposition and become another weapon to torpedo us into submission. This committee and this report has broken every rule in the book. In essence, you are finding me guilty of breaching a code of ethics that does not exist. The committee is punishing me for engaging in a practice that is routine, accepted and encouraged in the House. The findings are based solely on the written testimonies of two private citizens whose versions contradict each other in material terms, none of whom I was allowed to cross-examine.
मैंने ऑलरेडी बोल दिया ना, दिस इज वेंडेटा पॉलिटिक्स ऑफ बीजेपी. आई हैव ऑलरेडी मेंशन्ड. They kill the democracy. They ditch the people. Within half an hour, every political party has been discussed. 2-3 minutes, 2-3 minutes, 2-3 minutes. And now they have taken a decision. And you left 495 pages. And you didn't allow even the victims to take her own stand for her self-defense. This is unfortunate. This is really unfortunate. It cannot be acceptable. It is unacceptable. It is injustice. It is irreparable. And Mahua will win the case, win the battle next. And see, the people will give the befitting reply to BJP. I believe so. Politically we will fight. And people will fight. People will give the justice. I believe so. They will be defeated in the next election.
Pallavi now joins us to get us more perspective on this big story that we're tracking here. Mahua Moitra has been expelled. We've seen not just the TMC, but all of the opposition parties stand by her as well. We saw that show of strength, that show of unity outside the parliament at the Gandhi statue itself after the expulsion. But Pallavi, what next for Mahua Moitra? Does she have legal recourse to fight this expulsion?
See, she's just been expelled as per the rules. She's not yet been disqualified because that disqualification, like it came in the case of Rahul Gandhi, only comes across upon conviction. An expulsion essentially means, Poonam, that she can still contest elections in 2024. There is definitely a change in stand of the TMC, where initially they were clearly not backing her. But now you saw not just Mamata Banerjee strolling, pitching and favourably talking about Mahua Moitra, saying it is a case of political witch hunt against her. But those pictures were very powerful when you saw Rahul as well as Sonia Gandhi standing beside her. So I don't think it's going to be a problem for her to get a ticket from Krishnanagar in 2024 Lok Sabha elections. I think the calculation also will be to ensure that she wins and wins with a larger margin than she did in the last Lok Sabha elections. So her political fight is not over. In fact, I suspect she's going to go back to Krishnanagar. She's going to go back to her constituency. She'll talk to the people, and not just her. It is her party, the India Front Alliance, will certainly showcase her as that person who, like Rahul Gandhi, was thrown outside parliament because they're only ones who stood up to authority and questioned the Prime Minister.
That's the stance that she took right outside the parliament steps when she came out after her expulsion. That's what India bloc members are also saying. Pallavi, do stay on with us. Let's listen into some of those political reactions that have poured in as well.
देखो 2005 की मुद्दा और आज की मुद्दा अलग है. मैंने ये भी उठाया कि चौक और चीज में फर्क होना चाहिए. उस समय स्टिंग ऑपरेशन सारे तथ्य सबूत सामने थे. इस समय एक अंदाज, एक सोच पे करा दिया गया और ये बदले की भावना से किए गए. बिल्कुल साफ है. अब मैं नहीं, 2 दिसंबर को आप देख लो. 2 दिसंबर मैंने जो पत्र लिखी थी उसी की आप थोड़ा पढ़ लो. आज भी सब सांगवादिक के पास है. मैं स्पीकर साहब को लिखी थी 2 दिसंबर. आज भी वही राय है मेरा. ये बेबुनियाद तथ्यों पर आधारहीन और सिर्फ बदले के भावने से ये किए गए हैं, ठीक नहीं.
Mahua Moitra continues to play victim even after her expulsion. Sanjay Jaiswal is with me. क्या कहना चाहेंगे आप?
She hasn't filed even 1 rupee's income tax till 2014, and her income was less than 5 lakh rupees till 2019, and still she has visited 35 countries. She has gone from here to 13 countries and then she visited 35 countries. And she has never taken FCRA clearance, that who is the sponsor of these tours. She hasn't informed the speaker. This shows that all these tours were sponsored by Darshan Hiranandani for these questions. And Trinamool Mukherjee himself said that it's not question of the person, it's question of dignity of parliament when it came in 2005. And I think that the speaker has upheld that dignity. The whole parliament has supported it. There was not even one vote against it. That shows that the whole parliament wholeheartedly supported it.
So what would you want to say in Mahua's defense, even though the
I already said this. She should have been given the right to speak.
But when she was given a right to speak, sir, but when she was given a right to speak in the committee, she chose to walk out, is what the government is saying.
Whatever they say, The point is, she should have been given the right to.
महुआ मोइत्रा जी का निष्कासन हुआ तो कहीं ना कहीं महुआ मोइत्रा जी का निष्कासन सारे सांसदों के लिए एक सीख है। जब हम सांसद बनते हैं तो हम संविधान को लेकर शपथ लेते हैं, कुछ नियमों के तहत हमें काम करना पड़ता है और हम सबको ज्ञात हो कि हम एक कांच के घर में हैं और सारे लोग हमें देख रहे हैं, पूरा देश हमें देख रहा है और हम लाखों लोगों का प्रतिनिधित्व देश की सबसे बड़ी पंचायत में करते हैं। तो ऐसी स्थिति में कहीं ना कहीं बहुत दायित्वपूर्ण व्यवहार होना चाहिए। महुआ मोइत्रा जी के केस में अनैतिकता दिखी और दायित्वपूर्ण व्यवहार नहीं दिखा और इस वजह से आज उनका लोकसभा से निष्कासन हुआ।
Pallavi, are we expecting to see this particular issue echo in the remainder of the winter session of Parliament as well? There are several other bills that are going to come up next week, but is this something that the opposition is going to perhaps raise through the next week till the session ends?
I think it's going to be more of an issue-based responses inside the Parliament because at an India Front meeting this was decided that contrary to what was their stand earlier, at least in the winter session, because it comes so close to Lok Sabha as well, they are going to be a part of the debate and discussion. They want every bill to be debated, discussed, because they also wanted that their voices are recorded in the archives of the Parliament. But that doesn't mean that they wouldn't have resisted any attempt to what they call submerging democracy. And therefore, today's stand which we see may not spill over to, say, next week in terms of opposing every legislation. There are some contentious ones which are also going to come up. For example, next week, the one on the election or appointment of the Chief Election Commissioner, that is on which the opposition has registered its protest, saying that this is again diluting the powers of the Election Commission and making it subservient to the government. I think we are going to see a lot of resistance coming in from the opposition parties on that as well. So it's going to be an issue-based response day by day at every issue which comes up inside the Parliament.
Right, so the opposition may be standing together with Mahua today, but come next week, depending on what bill is being tabled in both houses of Parliament, that is when they'll decide whether or not this issue takes precedence or the bills that are being discussed. Pallavi, do stay on with us. Let's listen into some more reactions that have poured in, because the political fight over Mahua Moitra's expulsion is only escalating with each passing minute.
Mahua Moitra expelled today. What's your reaction now?
Most importantly, our leader and the AITC chairperson, Mamata Banerjee, has just spoken, and she's indignant about it, and we are all very agitated about this, because today what happened in Parliament, as Didi said, that democracy has been killed, it has been murdered. The person did not get a chance to defend herself. The honourable member Mahua Moitra, against whom these two allegations were, she did not get a chance to defend herself, and it was just a circus. A circus which was happening in Lok Sabha, because it was it was all planned. Just look at the chronology. Just these 2 days, what the Union Minister Giriraj Singh had said about women. You know, his remarks about women, which was so distasteful and so derogatory. So for them it comes very easy that you have to humiliate women, and then anybody who stands up, you must have to demean that woman. And that is why what happened with Mahua Moitra is also that they had to take this ultimate step, thinking that this will shut her up.
We've seen Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi beside Mahua Moitra. So do you think that, this is a very positive step by Congress and India Alliance again seen together?
Yes, again, as Didi has again said, that India Alliance is together, and they have shown solidarity vis-a-vis this regarding Mahua Moitra, and we all will work together, and this cannot happen. I mean, democracy needs to be back on track.
Mahua is playing victim, but the government says and the party, BJP says that this is actually karma which is coming back to bite her because there is enough proof.
So if they're talking about karma, karma will certainly come to bite them as well for undermining an elected representative's right to defend herself, undermining the entire parliamentary democracy and how natural justice should work. So if they're talking about karma, they will also get their soon.
But what they're basically saying is that there was proof on record and Mahua was given a chance to defend, but she chose to walk out of that meeting.
I personally feel that even if she did walk out of the meeting, there should have been some semblance of having an investigation where those witnesses who've given their sworn affidavits could be cross-questioned as to the nature of gifts, the number of gifts, the value of those gifts, and why were they given and at what point in time. So those are those grey areas which can't determine someone's guilt and someone's accusations of having given bribe. That is my only contribution to this entire discussion.
10 मिनट बाद में कहा कि चाहे 7 मिनट चाहे कोई 5 मिनट बोलने दो, उनको बयान भी रिकॉर्ड होने दो। नहीं, इन्होंने नहीं दिया। ये बड़े दुख की बात है। संसदीय गणतांत्रिक प्रथा को इन्होंने दबा देने की कोशिश करते हैं। वॉइस ऑफ द ऑपोजिशन आर गोइंग टू बी गैग्ड। जिसको खिलाफ में इतना विरोध है, वक्तव्य है, उनका बात नहीं सुनोगे तुम? ऐसा नहीं होता कभी। और सबसे बड़ा बात है, इंडिया का जो एलिस पार्टीज है वो सब एकजुट हो गए और एक साथ बोला, एक साथ गांधी मूर्ति का सामने आया। इट इज ऑल्सो ए वेरी गुड डे फॉर अस।
Now, before Mahua Moitra was expelled from the Lok Sabha, there was a heated debate that went on before that motion was actually put to vote. We saw several within the opposition blocs come up and defend her, also question the ethics panel, whether or not they had the jurisdiction to recommend this expulsion in the first place at all. Listen in to what exactly transpired inside the parliament.
कोई ह्यूमनली, मतलब कोई हमारे कोई मेंबर जो भी हो, इतना जल्दी में, मतलब 2 घंटे की मोहलत, और ये 2 घंटे भी नहीं हुई है। 12 बजे के बाद यहाँ से निकलना, इसको डाउनलोड करना, करते करते आधा घंटा पौने घंटे निकल चुके हैं। फिर सर 406 पेजेस है। तो आप ये कहिए कि कोई मनुष्यों की इतना क्षमता है कि इतना जल्दबाजी में सारे पेपर पढ़ ले और उसके अंदर कोई गलतियां है, कोई उस बारीकी से जानकारी लेने में वो कोई कामयाब हो सकते हैं? अब बताइए। तो इसलिए मैं आप मेरा तरफ से, मेरे पार्टी की तरफ से सर आपसे ये मांग भी रखी है कि 3-4 दिन की मोहलत अब दिया करो और इस बीच हम सही ढंग से पढ़े, विचार विमर्श करें और फिर सदन में आकर एक सही ढंग से चर्चा कर जो आप चाहते हैं। मतलब ये कि ये जिसके खिलाफ कोई मतलब शिकायत है, ये नेचुरल जस्टिस कहते हैं, उनको बोलने का मौका देना चाहिए। जैसे कि महुआ मोइत्रा को नाम लिए गए, जिक्र किए गए, उनके खिलाफ शिकायतें हैं, तो उनको तो कम से कम बोलने का मौका देना चाहिए। नहीं, आप खुद बताइए सर। सदन में चर्चा और सदन मेरिट पर चलना चाहिए। प्रधानमंत्री कहते हैं कि महिला में जो है उसका चर्चा चलना चाहिए। और जब 2005 में 10 लोगों को निष्कासित किया गया था, उसी दिन रिपोर्ट दिया गया था और उस टाइम भी 10 लोगों को इधर अपने बात रखने का मौका नहीं दिया गया था। ये रिकॉर्ड पे है। आज जहां तक मैं जानता हूं, उस माननीय सोमनाथ चटर्जी ने उसके ऊपर रूलिंग दिया गया था। ये क्या बात करे और कलंकित वगैरह जो हुआ है। सारे देश, इतना बड़ा वाइब्रेंट डेमोक्रेसी, इतना बड़ा दुनिया के सबसे बड़ा डेमोक्रेसी, अभी हमारे पूरा डेमोक्रेसी का जो एक कलंक है, वो कलंक के बारे में वो बात करो।
रूल जो 316D है, रूल 316D ऑफ द रूल्स ऑफ प्रोसीजर एंड कंडक्ट ऑफ बिजनेस, उसको ध्यान से पढ़ा है। उसमें ये लिखा है, द रिकमेंडेशंस ऑफ द कमिटी शैल बी प्रेजेंटेड इन द फॉर्म ऑफ अ रिपोर्ट। अब मैं एक बुनियादी सवाल पूछना चाहता हूं कि फौजदारी के कानून में 2 चीजों में फर्क है, कन्विक्शन और सेंटेंसिंग में फर्क है। जो एथिक्स कमेटी है वो ये तो सिफारिश कर सकती है कि कोई व्यक्ति गुनाहगार है या बेगुनाह है, पर एथिक्स कमेटी ये सिफारिश नहीं कर सकती कि उसको दंड क्या दिया जाना चाहिए। दिस इज अ फंडामेंटल डिस्टिंक्शन। दैट पावर लाइज विद दिस हाउस। द एथिक्स कमेटी एट बेस्ट कैन मेक अ रिकमेंडेशन दैट वेदर अ पर्सन इज गिल्टी और अ पर्सन इज इनोसेंट। It is this house sitting as a jury which has the powers to decide the quantum of punishment, Mr. Speaker. So therefore, the recommendation of the Ethics Committee is fundamentally flawed in my respectful submission. This is a complete diversity of justice. First of all, Mr. Speaker, sir, this House should be adjourned. All the whips should be withdrawn from all the sides, because we are not sitting as ordinary members of this House. We are sitting as judges in a jury in order to decide the fate of one of our honorable colleagues, and I am afraid that cannot be done through whip-driven tyranny.
मैंने तो 2 घंटे में रिपोर्ट पढ़ी है, पता नहीं इतने सब विद्वान यहाँ बैठे हैं कैसे 2 घंटे में वो रिपोर्ट नहीं पढ़ पाए। मैंने पूरा रिपोर्ट 2 घंटे में पढ़ा। 47 टाइम्स दुबई से इनका अकाउंट लॉगिन हुआ है, ये भी यहाँ रिपोर्ट में है। 6 बार यूके, यूएस, नेपाल यहाँ से अकाउंट लॉगिन होके क्वेश्चंस अपलोड किए गए हैं। और ये चीज़ खुद माननीय सांसद महोदया ने एथिक्स कमेटी के सामने ये एक्सेप्ट किया है कि उनका आईडी और पासवर्ड ये उन्होंने खुद मिस्टर हीरानंदानी को और उनके कंपनी के लोगों को दिया था। हम सभी सांसद, चाहे वो लोकसभा के हो या राज्यसभा के, वो फॉर्म पे साइन करते हैं और उसमें रूल्स में लिखा हुआ है कि हम हमारा आईडी और पासवर्ड किसी को शेयर नहीं कर सकते। ये रूल्स में लिखा है, हर संसद सदस्य उस पर साइन करता है। हम सब ने साइन किया हुआ है। एक ही दिन में उनका अकाउंट लॉगिन होता है दिल्ली में, दुबई में, बैंगलोर में और यूएस में। तो यहाँ नेचुरल जस्टिस की बात कर रहे हैं, आप खुद रूल्स तोड़ रहे हैं।
News coming in now. We're given to understand that this is just the first step and trouble is only going to mount for Mahua Moitra. We're now learning that there is already an FIR against her. The CBI is also going to pursue this investigation against her. Arun, my colleague, now joining us, getting us more details. Arun, what more have you gathered from your sources?
Well, see, the source-based information that we are picking at this moment from the BJP's camp is that since, the allegations are coming from the opposition parties that she was not given the opportunity to speak. So therefore, this information says that, this is the first step. Mahua Moitra's expulsion is the first step, and CBI has already filed preliminary FIR in the entire investigation, and she was given the opportunity. She was given full opportunity to present her side before the ethics committee, which she didn't do, and therefore we saw that the boycott of the meeting by Mahua Moitra and some of the ethics committee members, and this expulsion will have several precedents. So that's the information that we are picking up from BJP sources. The clear indication which BJP is trying to put out is that the victimhood card which TMC or the other opposition parties are playing, they have way ahead to go. There are multiple things which will follow in the future, as CBI has already registered the case and they will be taking the case forward. On the other side, of course, we know the Lokpal is also following the entire matter. So this is just the first step, as she has been expelled. Perhaps there will be investigation, because if you go by the draft report of Ethics Committee, it talked about various amounts. It has mentioned 75 lakh, and there was also amount of 2 crore rupees, which Jay Anand has mentioned that he heard Mahua speaking to Hiranandani about that 2 crore rupees. So there are various aspects part of this report, and of course of the complaint. So we'll have to see on which direction CBI and perhaps Lokpal would go.
Right, Arun, do keep a track of that. And thank you so much for getting us the latest. On that note, it's time for a quick break here on this edition of Nation at 5, but there's lots more lined up for you on the other side. Do stay tuned.
भारत के
लिए पीड़ादायक भी है, लेकिन कई बार ऐसे अवसर आते हैं जब इस सभा को अपने प्रति, राष्ट्र के प्रति, अपने कर्तव्यों के निर्वहन के लिए उचित निर्णय लेने होते हैं। माननीय सदस्यगण, संसदीय लोकतंत्र नियमों, उच्च मर्यादाओं से चलता है। ये सदन हमारे देश की सर्वोच्च पीठ है। पिछले 75 वर्षों की हमारी लोकतांत्रिक यात्रा में हमारे सदन की, हमारे लोकतंत्र की एक ऊंची मर्यादा स्थापित हुई है। पूरा देश उच्च संसदीय परंपराओं के लिए हमारी ओर देखता है। इन्हीं उच्च परंपराओं की बदौलत हमारे लोकतंत्र की पूरे विश्व में एक विशिष्ट पहचान है। माननीय सदस्यगण, पिछले 75 वर्षों की गौरवशाली यात्रा में हमारा लोकतंत्र निरंतर सशक्त और परिपक्व हुआ है। जनता के बीच हमारी विशेषता लगातार बढ़ी है। जनता ने हमें इसलिए चुनकर भेजा है कि हम सदन में बैठकर उनके विकास के लिए, उनकी कल्याण के लिए, उनकी आशाओं के लिए, उनकी आकांक्षाओं को इस सदन में बैठकर पूरा कर सकें। लेकिन हमारे लोकतंत्र की इस गौरवशाली यात्रा में समय समय पर हमारे ऐसे अवसर भी आए हैं जब हमने इस सदन की गरिमा और प्रतिष्ठा, सदन के उच्च मापदंडों को बनाए रखने के लिए उचित निर्णय भी किए हैं। इस सदन के उच्च मर्यादा और लोकतांत्रिक मूल्य ऐसे मूल सिद्धांत है जिसमें किसी प्रकार का कोई समझौता नहीं किया जा सकता। ऐसे में हमारा दायित्व बनता है कि हम शुद्ध अंतःकरण से, ईमानदारी और कर्तव्यनिष्ठा से इन सिद्धांतों की रक्षा के लिए अपने दायित्वों का निर्वहन करें। हम अपने उच्च आचरण में शुद्धता रखें, शुचिता रखें, अपने व्यवहार को से किसी प्रकार का कोई को कष्ट न हो, हमारे व्यवहार से, हमारे कार्य में कोई संदेह न हो, हमारा आचरण ऐसा न हो जिससे कि लोकतंत्र की उच्च मर्यादा और प्रतिष्ठा को कोई ठेस पहुँचे। इस सदन की विशेषता और उच्च मापदंड को बनाए रखने, उन्हें संवर्धित करना इस सदन के सदस्य रूप में हम सबका सामूहिक और सर्वोच्च दायित्व है। माननीय सदस्यगण, मैं समझता हूँ हम सब यहाँ पर जिस बात पर विचार करने जा रहे हैं वह हम सब के सामूहिकता से विचार कर रहे हैं, सहानुभूतिपूर्वक विचार कर रहे हैं, संवेदना के साथ विचार कर रहे हैं। हमें किसी भी सदन में किसी भी सदस्य को, मेरी कोशिश रहती है न मैं सदन से उसको निलंबित करूं, कभी कोई कार्रवाई करूं। मेरी तो यही कोशिश रहती है कि सभी सदस्यों को पर्याप्त अवसर, पर्याप्त समय मिले। समय समय पर मैंने कोशिश भी की कि सदन की मर्यादा बनी रहे और उस मर्यादा बनाने के लिए कुछ कठोर निर्णय भी करने पड़े तो सदन की मर्यादा के लिए करने पड़े। और इसीलिए आज भी हम जो भी चर्चा कर रहे हैं उसमें मर्यादा, सदन की गरिमा हम सब के लिए सबसे ऊपर है। ऐसी परिस्थिति में हम सबको इस सदन के गौरव, सम्मान, नैतिकता और अस्मिता को अक्षुण्ण रखना हम सबकी सामूहिक जिम्मेदारी है। मुझे आशा है इस विषय पर जब हम चर्चा करें तो सदन की मर्यादा, उच्च कोटि की मर्यादा और पूरे देश में इस सदन के प्रति लोगों का विश्वास, भरोसा बना रहे और व्यक्तिगत रूप से भी जिन लोगों ने हमें चुनकर भेजा है, हम व्यक्तिगत आचरण में भी हमारा व्यवहार ऐसा होना चाहिए कि हम लोकतंत्र की उच्च मर्यादा को कायम रख सकें। मैं नियम 316(e)(2) के विषय पर अधिकतम आधे घंटे की चर्चा की अनुमति देता हूं।
Investigation of the unethical conduct of Shri Mahua Moitra MP laid on the table of the House on 8th December 2023.
एक मिनट सबको। Okay.
We don't have the copy of the motion. We don't have the supplementary distribution.
माननीय सदस्यगण, आज जिस विषय पर विचार किया जा रहा है वो विचार और प्रस्ताव जो माननीय संसदीय कार्य मंत्री ने रखा है वो हम सबके लिए पीड़ादायक भी है, लेकिन कई बार ऐसे अवसर आते हैं जब इस सभा को अपने प्रति, तो राष्ट्र के प्रति अपने कर्तव्यों के निर्वहन के लिए उचित निर्णय लेने होते हैं। माननीय सदस्यगण, संसदीय लोकतंत्र नियमों, उच्च मर्यादाओं से चलता है। ये सदन हमारे देश की सर्वोच्च पीठ है। पिछले 75 वर्षों की हमारी लोकतांत्रिक यात्रा में हमारे सदन की, हमारे लोकतंत्र की एक ऊंची मर्यादा स्थापित हुई है। पूरा देश उच्च संसदीय परंपराओं के लिए हमारी ओर देखता है। इन्हीं उच्च परंपराओं की बदौलत हमारे लोकतंत्र की पूरे विश्व में एक विशिष्ट पहचान है। माननीय सदस्यगण, पिछले 75 वर्षों की गौरवशाली यात्रा में हमारा लोकतंत्र निरंतर सशक्त और परिपक्व हुआ है। जनता के बीच हमारी विशेषता
Welcome back. You're watching Nation at 5 with me, Poonam Burde. There was a massive crackdown on Congress MP from Jharkhand. Over 250 crore rupees was found during raids by the Income Tax Department. Those raids are still underway in at least 36 locations across Jharkhand and Odisha. That has now triggered a big political fight, with the Prime Minister too wading in, going on to social media to say this morning that every penny of that looted money will be returned, and that is Modi's guarantee. So this is going to be the new pitch as far as 2024 is for the BJP. The fight against corruption is something that the BJP is now going to talk about, considering that the seizure of this money has been linked to a member of parliament of the Rajya Sabha from the Congress party. Listen in to some of those reactions.
शराब बनाने वाली कंपनी बीडीपीएल के कई ठिकानों पर आईटी की टीम सर्वे कर रही है, और इसी सर्वे में कई अहम जो जानकारियां हैं वो आईटी की टीम को मिले हैं। यहीं पर कई कैश, अगर कहा जाए तो करीब 200 करोड़ के आसपास कैश जो है वो बरामद होने की सूचना मिली है, जिसे लेकर आईटी की टीम जो है वो जांच कर रही है। सांसद धीरज साहू जो हैं उनके भी रांची और लोहरदगा आवास जो है, जो ठिकाने हैं वहां पर छापेमारी चल रही है। तो इसके साथ ही उड़ीसा में भी कई ठिकानों पर एक साथ आईटी की टीम के द्वारा सर्वे किया जा रहा है। मामले में जो जानकारी सामने आई है उसके अनुसार यहाँ पर 200 करोड़ के करीब नगद जो है वो बरामद हुए हैं, तो वहीं कई अहम दस्तावेज भी बरामद हुए हैं। फिलहाल तमाम चीज़ों की जांच की जा रही है और जो पैसे गिनने का काम है वो भी किया जा रहा है। उसके बाद ही स्थिति स्पष्ट हो पाएगी कि आखिर कितने करोड़ रुपए जो हैं वो यहाँ से बरामद हुए हैं। बता दें कि आईटी की टीम जो है बुधवार सुबह से ही ये सर्वे का काम कर रही है, जो अभी भी जारी है। हमारे पीछे जो सांसद धीरज साहू है, राज्यसभा सांसद, उनका ये आवास है। यहाँ भी उड़ीसा से आई हुई आयकर की टीम जो है वो कल से मौजूद है और अभी तक अंदर जो है वो सर्वे का काम जारी है। अब देखना होगा कि इस पूरी सर्वे के बाद क्या कुछ जानकारियाँ सामने आती है और जो सांसद हैं उनकी मुश्किलें कितनी बढ़ती हैं।
Narisa Kumar Mohanty now joining us live from Cuttack, getting us more details of what exactly is transpiring. बताया जा रहा है कि छापेमारी अब भी जारी है, सिर्फ झारखंड में नहीं ओडिशा में भी छापेमारी चल रही है। क्या जो सांसद है धीरज साहू, उनकी तरफ से अभी कोई बयान आया है?
देखिए, धीरज साहू की तरफ से अभी तक कोई बयान नहीं आया है और आयकर विभाग की तरफ से भी पुख्ता इंफॉर्मेशन अभी तक कुछ नहीं आया है। मगर जो सोर्सेस हैं पूनम हमारे, वो उनके साथ जो बातचीत हमारा हो रहा था, 200 करोड़ नहीं, ये आंकड़ा अभी 250 करोड़ तक पहुंच गया है। और ये बताया जा रहा है, सुनने में भी आ रहा है कि 300 करोड़ के पार भी ये जा सकता है, क्योंकि अभी भी आज भी बहुत से पैसे निकले हैं। और ये बताया जा रहा है कि आज लगभग 50 करोड़ रुपया कहीं से निकला है और उसको भी जो उड़ीसा के जो स्टेट बैंक्स हैं अलग अलग जगहों में, वहाँ उसको डिपॉजिट किया गया है। और जो पैसा गिनने वाला मशीन है वो उसको भी लगाया गया है। और सबसे बड़ी बात है, वो मशीन भी बीच बीच में ठप पड़ जा रही है। लोगों की कमी है अभी पैसा गिनने में। सिर्फ पैसा नहीं है पूनम, पैसे के साथ साथ बहुत सारे सोना भी मिला है और कुछ सोने के बिस्किट्स भी मिले हैं। मगर आयकर विभाग का यह कहना है, पहले पैसा का हिसाब निकास होगा, उसके बाद ही कितना सोना मिला है और कितना रुपए का वो सुना है उसको बाद में देखा जाएगा। उड़ीसा की बात करें, ये जो रेड आप जानते हैं देश भर में 3 स्टेट में हो रहा है, उड़ीसा, झारखंड और वेस्ट बंगाल। उड़ीसा में 5 जगह पर ये रेड हो रहा है। जो मेन जगह है यहाँ पे बौद्ध डिस्टिलरी प्राइवेट लिमिटेड जो कि बौद्ध जिले में है, वहाँ पे रेड चल रहा है। उसके साथ साथ टिटलागढ़ में चल रहा है रेड, और उसके साथ साथ अगर हम कहें तो बोलांगीर जहाँ पे इसका ऑफिस है, वहीं से ये सारा पैसा निकला है। और ये सोर्सेस हमारे बता रहे हैं पूनम, सिर्फ बोलांगीर ऑफिस से 200 करोड़ रुपए निकले हैं। और अलग अलग जगहों पे अभी भी रेड जारी है। 3 दिनों से लगातार बुधवार तड़के ये रेड शुरू हुआ था और आज फ्राइडे शाम हो गया है और अभी तक रेड चल रहा है। ये भी हमारे सोर्सेस बता रहे हैं कि 3-4 दिन और लगेंगे इस रेड को, क्योंकि बहुत भारी मात्रा में पैसा और निकलने वाला है या फिर धीरे धीरे करके निकल रहा है। और 4 जनों को अभी ये कह सकते हैं कि उनको अभी डिटेन किया गया है, उनके साथ अभी पूछताछ की जा रही है। और उनमें से 2-3 लोगों को तो भुवनेश्वर में जो इनकम टैक्स के ऑफिस है वहां भी बुलाया गया है। तो इंतजार किया जा रहा है आईटी डिपार्टमेंट की तरफ से कुछ पुख्ता जानकारी को अभी। जी पूनम।
जी नमस्कार, धन्यवाद हमको उस जानकारी के लिए। द रेड्स आर कंटिन्यूइंग अक्रॉस 3 states. It could take a few more days to actually assess how much of the seizure is going to amount to. It's already 250 crores and counting, and that has only given more ammunition to the BJP to slam the Congress party over its corruption plank. Listen in to some of those reactions.
इस पर आईटी रेड हुई है जो कि 3 प्रदेशों में, झारखंड में, ओडिशा में और पश्चिम बंगाल में 10 ठिकानों पर 2 दिन तक चली। जो तथ्य सामने आए हैं ये बड़े ही चिंताजनक हैं। ऐसी 9 अलमारियां हैं, 9 अलमारियां जिसमें करीब 100 करोड़ रुपए की नकदी मिली है। मैं पुनः कहूंगा, 9 अलमारियों में 100 करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा की नकदी आईटी के छापे में मिली है। और 2 तस्वीरें आपके समक्ष है, ये देखिए। पूरी अलमारी भ्रष्टाचार की काली कमाई से भरकर कांग्रेस के नेता अपनी जेब भर रहे हैं।
Moving on now, 4 state election results came out on Sunday. 3 of those went to the BJP, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, but none of them have a chief minister yet. What is causing the delay is what several within the opposition have asked about. We now know that perhaps in the next 24 to 48 hours that mystery could end. Of course, the front runners are many in all of those 3 states, but the BJP is known to have picked the one that's usually not spoken of. Aman, my colleague, now joining us, getting us more details as far as what holds for these 3 states. Aman, observers are going to be dispatched tomorrow perhaps to all these 3 states?
Over the next 2 days, either tomorrow or on Sunday, the observers should be visiting all these 3 states, 3 observers each. Today, obviously, the names were announced, but today the parliament had a whip, so everybody had to be present in parliament. When Mr. Rajnath Singh was leaving, we tried to ask him if he's going tomorrow. There was no committal answer from him also. But what you're learning is that on Sunday, there could be this legislature party meeting in all 3 states where the observers who are going would meet the legislators, seek their opinion on who should be the chief minister, who is their preferred, who has the support of more MLAs. That message maybe they will carry back to the High Command, and then the parliamentary board could meet in Delhi and decide these names. Hopefully by Sunday or Monday, we should know who the 3 chief ministers and maybe a deputy chief minister also. The talk is in at least the state of Rajasthan. We could see a deputy CM there as well. So we'll know maybe by Sunday or Monday who the choices will be.
Now specifically about Rajasthan, there was a lot of hectic activity yesterday when we saw Vasundhara Raje meeting JP Nadda late last night, then Mr. Nadda going back to the Union Home Minister, meetings with the Prime Minister as well. So there's a lot of buzz, especially as far as Rajasthan is concerned, because the rift within the Congress is not the only story as far as Rajasthan goes. In the BJP too, there is some unease.
Well, Vasundhara Raje is a 2-time chief minister and she is known to have a mind of her own. She speaks her mind. And you know what I think irked the BJP leadership a bit in Delhi was this 40 plus MLAs going to Vasundhara Raje's house in Jaipur a few days back. Few of them came out and gave statements, at least a couple of them, think that Vasundhara Raje should be the chief minister. So this is not exactly the party discipline of BJP. So I think Vasundhara Raje was called, sought a meeting, and she came to Delhi and she met JP Nadda along with her son Dushyant as well, who was along with her. There was also these murmurs that some MLAs have been taken to a hotel in Jaipur. So I think all those clarifications were taken. What I am hearing from BJP sources is that whoever the CM is chosen, Vasundhara Raje will be brought on board. So maybe this is an exercise to tell Vasundhara Raje that, okay, let's follow the party line. You should come on board with the decision. We don't know if good news has been delivered to Vasundhara Raje last evening or she has been told to fall in line. So we don't really know, because BJP, Poonam, the party is very secretive when it comes to the chief ministerial faces. One can hardly hazard a guess. But what we believe, that obviously BJP is looking for a generational change. Maybe, I don't know if that will be reflected in the CM face or in the deputy CM face, but there are a total of nearly 18 to 20 probables now for all the three states combined. I think the observers have a tough job going to speaking to MLAs and knowing whom they want to prefer as the chief minister.
Perhaps that is why we're also seeing 3 of them being dispatched to each of them, a diverse pack there as well. But Aman, thank you so much for getting us more information on that. We will find out in the next day or two perhaps who the next chief minister of all of these 3 states is going to be. On that note, slipping into a quick break, back in just a few minutes.
Brought to you by
लगातार बढ़ी है। जनता ने हमें इसलिए चुनकर भेजा है कि हम सदन में बैठकर उनके विकास के लिए, उनकी कल्याण के लिए, उनकी आशाओं के लिए, उनकी आकांक्षाओं को इस सदन में बैठकर पूरा कर सकें। लेकिन हमारे लोकतंत्र की इस गौरवशाली यात्रा में समय समय पर हमारे ऐसे अवसर भी आए हैं जब हमने इस सदन की गरिमा और प्रतिष्ठा, सदन के उच्च मापदंडों को बनाए रखने के लिए उचित निर्णय भी किए हैं। इस सदन के उच्च मर्यादा और लोकतांत्रिक मूल्य ऐसे मूल सिद्धांत है जिसमें किसी प्रकार का कोई समझौता नहीं किया जा सकता। ऐसे में हमारा दायित्व बनता है कि हम शुद्ध अंतःकरण से, ईमानदारी और कर्तव्यनिष्ठा से इन सिद्धांतों की रक्षा के लिए अपने दायित्वों का निर्वहन करें। हम अपने उच्च आचरण में शुद्धता रखें, शुचिता रखें, अपने व्यवहार को से किसी प्रकार का कोई को कष्ट न हो, हमारे व्यवहार से हमारे कार्य में कोई संदेह न हो, हमारा आचरण ऐसा न हो जिससे कि लोकतंत्र की उच्च मर्यादा और प्रतिष्ठा को कोई ठेस पहुंचे। इस सदन की विशेषता और उच्च मापदंड को बनाए रखने, उन्हें संवर्धित करना इस सदन के सदस्य रूप में हम सबका सामूहिक और सर्वोच्च दायित्व है। माननीय सदस्यगण, मैं समझता हूं हम सब यहाँ पर जिस बात पर विचार करने जा रहे हैं वह हम सब के सामूहिकता से विचार कर रहे हैं, सहानुभूतिपूर्वक विचार कर रहे हैं, संवेदना के साथ विचार कर रहे हैं। हमें किसी भी सदन में किसी भी सदस्य को, मेरी कोशिश रहती है न मैं सदन से उसको निलंबित करूं, कभी कोई कार्रवाई करूं। मेरी तो यही कोशिश रहती है कि सभी सदस्यों को पर्याप्त अवसर, पर्याप्त समय मिले। समय समय पर मैंने कोशिश भी की कि सदन की मर्यादा बनी रहे, और उस मर्यादा बनाने के लिए कुछ कठोर निर्णय भी करने पड़े तो सदन की मर्यादा के लिए करने पड़े। और इसीलिए आज भी हम जो भी चर्चा कर रहे हैं उसमें मर्यादा, सदन की गरिमा हम सब के लिए सबसे ऊपर है। ऐसी परिस्थिति में हम सबको इस सदन के गौरव, सम्मान, नैतिकता और अस्मिता को अक्षुण्ण रखना हम सबकी सामूहिक जिम्मेदारी है। मुझे आशा है इस विषय पर जब हम चर्चा करें तो सदन की मर्यादा, उच्च कोटि की मर्यादा और पूरे देश में इस सदन के प्रति लोगों का विश्वास, भरोसा बना रहे, और व्यक्तिगत रूप से भी जिन लोगों ने हमें चुनकर भेजा है, हम व्यक्तिगत आचरण में भी हमारा व्यवहार ऐसा होना चाहिए कि हम लोकतंत्र की उच्च मर्यादा को कायम रख सकें। मैं नियम 316(e)(2) के विषय पर अधिकतम आधे घंटे की चर्चा की अनुमति देता हूं।
Investigation of the unethical conduct of Shri Mahua Moitra MP laid on the table of the House on 8th December 2023.
एक मिनट सबको। Okay.
We don't have the copy of the motion. We don't have the supplementary list of business.
माननीय सदस्यगण, आज जिस विषय पर विचार किया जा रहा है वो विचार और प्रस्ताव जो माननीय संसदीय कार्य मंत्री ने रखा है वो हम सबके लिए पीड़ादायक भी है, लेकिन कई बार ऐसे अवसर आते हैं जब इस सभा को अपने प्रति तो राष्ट्र के प्रति अपने कर्तव्यों के निर्वहन के लिए उचित निर्णय लेने होते हैं। माननीय सदस्यगण, संसदीय लोकतंत्र नियमों उच्च मर्यादाओं से चलता है। ये सदन हमारे देश की सर्वोच्च पीठ है। पिछले 75 वर्षों की हमारी लोकतांत्रिक यात्रा में हमारे सदन की, हमारे लोकतंत्र की एक ऊंची मर्यादा स्थापित हुई है। पूरा देश उच्च संसदीय परंपराओं के लिए हमारी ओर देखता है। इन्हीं उच्च परंपराओं की बदौलत हमारे लोकतंत्र की पूरे विश्व में एक विशिष्ट पहचान है। माननीय सदस्यगण, पिछले 75 वर्षों की गौरवशाली यात्रा में हमारा लोकतंत्र निरंतर सशक्त और परिपक्व हुआ है। जनता के बीच हमारी विशिष्टता लगातार बढ़ी है। जनता ने हमें इसलिए चुनकर भेजा है कि हम सदन में बैठकर उनके विकास के लिए, उनकी कल्याण के लिए, उनकी आशाओं के लिए, उनकी आकांक्षाओं को इस सदन में बैठकर पूरा कर सकें। लेकिन हमारे लोकतंत्र की इस गौरवशाली यात्रा में समय समय पर हमारे ऐसे अवसर भी आए हैं जब हमने इस सदन की गरिमा और प्रतिष्ठा, सदन के उच्च मापदंडों को बनाए रखने के लिए उचित निर्णय भी किए हैं। इस सदन के उच्च मर्यादा और लोकतांत्रिक मूल्य ऐसे मूल सिद्धांत है जिसमें किसी प्रकार का कोई समझौता नहीं किया जा सकता। ऐसे में हमारा दायित्व बनता है कि हम शुद्ध अंतःकरण से, ईमानदारी और कर्तव्यनिष्ठा से इन सिद्धांतों की रक्षा के लिए अपने दायित्वों का निर्वहन करें। हम अपने उच्च आचरण में शुद्धता रखें, शुचिता रखें, अपने व्यवहार को से किसी प्रकार का कोई को कष्ट न हो, हमारे व्यवहार से, हमारे कार्य में कोई संदेह न हो, हमारा आचरण ऐसा न हो जिससे कि लोकतंत्र की उच्च मर्यादा और प्रतिष्ठा को कोई ठेस पहुंचे। इस सदन की विशिष्टता और उच्च मापदंड को बनाए रखने, उन्हें संवर्धित करना इस सदन के सदस्य रूप में हम सबका सामूहिक और सर्वोच्च दायित्व है। माननीय सदस्यगण, मैं समझता हूँ हम सब यहाँ पर जिस बात पर विचार करने जा रहे हैं वह हम सब के सामूहिकता से विचार कर रहे हैं, सहानुभूतिपूर्वक विचार कर रहे हैं, संवेदना के साथ विचार कर रहे हैं। हमें किसी भी सदन में किसी भी सदस्य को, मेरी कोशिश रहती है न मैं सदन से उसको निलंबित करूं, कभी कोई कार्रवाई करूं। मेरी तो यही कोशिश रहती है कि सभी सदस्यों को पर्याप्त अवसर, पर्याप्त समय मिले। समय समय पर मैंने कोशिश भी की कि सदन की मर्यादा बनी रहे और
Welcome back. You're watching Nation at 5. We have some breaking news coming in as far as Mahua Moitra goes. It's not just at expulsion. Trouble is mounting for her. There's a criminal investigation that could be opened up against her very soon as well. We are getting more information from our sources within the CBI that they are going to be now looking into the criminality of the cash or favors that were allegedly taken by Mahua Moitra in lieu of the questions that she asked as a member of parliament of the Lok Sabha. We're given to understand now that CBI will be listening to and examining all the stakeholders, including the complainant in this case, which is Jayanand Dehadrai. Pallavi, my colleague, now joining us, getting us more details. Pallavi, what else can you tell us about what you've gathered from your sources within the CBI?
So basically, as we all know, just a sequence very quickly, Poonam, that complaint was forwarded by Nishikant Dubey to Lokpal. Lokpal forwarded it to the CBI. So the CBI has only issued a PE or a preliminary inquiry. Now the process begins, because even then the CBI sources had been saying that the only reason we filed a PE is because we are waiting for the entire procedure to be over inside Parliament. The Ethics Committee report was still being finalized. Now Parliament has adopted it, and whatever action had to be taken by the Parliament has taken. So now the CBI will have to take a call on when that FIR is going to be registered against her. For that, on the basis of the PE, they are going to start a full-fledged investigation, which means, of course, calling the complainants as witnesses, also other witnesses required, stakeholders, and of course going to Mahua Moitra and questioning her on the basis of all those complaints which have been made against her. And not just that, the affidavit which has been filed by Darshan Hiranandani is also now going to become a significant property of the CBI in its investigation.
Right, when that happens and what Mahua Moitra's next action is going to be, we'll keep a track of that. But for the moment, Pallavi, thank you so much for getting us the latest. Slipping into a quick break here on this edition of Nation at 5, but there's lots more lined up for you on the other side. Do stay tuned.
लिए कुछ कठोर निर्णय भी करने पड़े तो सदन की मर्यादा के लिए करने पड़े, और इसीलिए आज भी हम जो भी चर्चा कर रहे हैं उसमें मर्यादा, सदन की गरिमा हम सब के लिए सबसे ऊपर है। ऐसी परिस्थिति में हम सबको इस सदन के गौरव, सम्मान, नैतिकता और अस्मिता को अक्षुण्ण रखना हम सबकी सामूहिक जिम्मेदारी है। मुझे आशा है इस विषय पर जब हम चर्चा करें तो सदन की मर्यादा, उच्च कोटि की मर्यादा और पूरे देश में इस सदन के प्रति लोगों का विश्वास, भरोसा बना रहे, और व्यक्तिगत रूप से भी जिन लोगों ने हमें चुनकर भेजा है, हम व्यक्तिगत आचरण में भी हमारा व्यवहार ऐसा होना चाहिए कि हम लोकतंत्र की उच्च मर्यादा को कायम रख सकें। मैं नियम 316(e)(2) के विषय पर अधिकतम आधे घंटे की चर्चा की अनुमति देता हूं।
Investigation of the unethical conduct of Shri Mahua Moitra MP laid on the table of the House on 8th December 2023.
एक मिनट सबको। Okay.
We don't have the copy of the motion. We don't have the supplementary list of business.
माननीय सदस्यगण, आज जिस विषय पर विचार किया जा रहा है वो विचार और प्रस्ताव जो माननीय संसदीय कार्य मंत्री ने रखा है वो हम सबके लिए पीड़ादायक भी है, लेकिन कई बार ऐसे अवसर आते हैं जब इस सभा को अपने प्रति, राष्ट्र के प्रति अपने कर्तव्यों के निर्वहन के लिए उचित निर्णय लेने होते हैं। माननीय सदस्यगण, संसदीय लोकतंत्र नियमों, उच्च मर्यादाओं से चलता है। ये सदन हमारे देश की सर्वोच्च पीठ है। पिछले 75 वर्षों की हमारी लोकतांत्रिक यात्रा में हमारे सदन की, हमारे लोकतंत्र की
Welcome back. Yesterday, Karnataka Minister Priyank Kharge said that if it was up to him, he would replace Savarkar's portrait in the assembly and put up Mahatma Gandhi's there. That has now irked parties in Maharashtra. Protests broke out against Priyank Kharge and the Congress party in Maharashtra today for what they said was an insult of Veer Savarkar. Take a look at that.
Hello, Moto. Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
We are here at Dadar where the BJP is protesting vociferously against Priyank Kharge and against Rahul Gandhi. We are seeing a chappal maro andolan that has already taken place. The police are in struggle with the party workers. As you can see, क्यों protest कर रहे हैं?
देखिए, आपने कल का वक्तव्य सुना होगा प्रियंक खड़गे जी का, जिन्होंने जिस तरीके से उन्होंने अपमान किया है। ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी आज युवा मोर्चा का कैडर उनके आंदोलन को लेकर यहाँ पे खड़ा है। बार बार कांग्रेस सरकार और उनके राहुल गांधी बार बार स्वतंत्र सेनानियों का अपमान करते हैं, लेकिन हम भारतीय जनता पार्टी युवा मोर्चा के कैडर उनको बता देना चाहते हैं, जब जब ये अपमान होगा भारतीय जनता पार्टी युवा मोर्चा का कैडर तब तक यहाँ पे मुंबई की धरती पे उनका सम्मान करने के लिए उतरेगा। और बार बार कांग्रेस ने खाली फूट डालो और राज करने की नीति अपनाई है। वीर सावरकर हमारे महाराष्ट्र के ही नहीं, पूरे देश के महान क्रांतिकारी थे।
Now, Cyclone Migjom has wreaked havoc in Tamil Nadu and in Andhra Pradesh. It's been 5 days since heavy rainfall wreaked havoc and brought normal life to a standstill in many parts of Tamil Nadu. In fact, several parts of Chennai remain inundated even up until yesterday. There was power that was cut off for multiple days. Poor management of the state government, of the civic authorities is what is being questioned. CNN News 18 is taking stock on ground as to what exactly has happened in the last couple of days. Take a look.
The damage caused because of heavy rains is something that you can see here. The school bags, school books, all of them have been washed away because of incessant rains. The water level here was at least 7 feet. They were not able to step out. Only late last night the water has been cleared from these places. But you can see this apartment, the kind of damage that has been incurred. The trees haven't yet been uprooted. There's little bit water in this particular complex, and everyone says that they have incurred huge losses. Many of them have in fact had to throw away some of the stuff because it's been washed away because of rains. You can see water still here in this apartment. You can see that water is yet to be cleared, while majority places water has been cleared. This is the drainage water that is mixed with the rain water, and you can see that this place has no current here. It's pitch dark. Sunday is when the electricity was cut off, and even now there is no electricity at all. It's pitch dark, and this is the kind of damage that residents at Vyasarpadi had incurred. You can see the kind of damage, water still here in this place. They are now trying to clear, and in those places where the water is cleared, the debris still remains. So will take another 24 hours for them to clean the house and this apartment. This is the kind of damage you can see. All the clothes remain wet because the damage is huge, and residents say that the state government has turned a blind eye.
Residents of Chennai are still awaiting help, are still awaiting for the state government to do something about this. It's been 5 days and counting. We'll keep a track of that and much more here on CNN News 18. For now, a quick break.
The coolest sneakers.
मर्यादा स्थापित हुई है। पूरा देश उच्च संसदीय परंपराओं के लिए हमारी ओर देखता है। इन्हीं उच्च परंपराओं की बदौलत हमारे लोकतंत्र की पूरे विश्व में एक विशिष्ट पहचान है। माननीय सदस्यन, पिछले 75 वर्षों की गौरवशाली यात्रा में हमारा लोकतंत्र निरंतर सशक्त और परिपक्व हुआ है। जनता के बीच हमारी विशिष्टता लगातार बढ़ी है। जनता ने हमें इसलिए चुनकर भेजा है कि हम सदन में बैठकर उनके विकास के लिए, उनकी कल्याण के लिए, उनकी आशाओं के लिए, उनकी आकांक्षाओं को इस सदन में बैठकर पूरा कर सकें। लेकिन हमारे लोकतंत्र की इस गौरवशाली यात्रा में समय समय पर हमारे ऐसे अवसर भी आए हैं जब हमने इस सदन की गरिमा और प्रतिष्ठा, सदन के उच्च मापदंडों को बनाए रखने के लिए उचित निर्णय भी किए हैं। इस सदन के उच्च मर्यादा और लोकतांत्रिक मूल्य ऐसे मूल सिद्धांत है जिसमें किसी प्रकार का कोई समझौता नहीं किया जा सकता। ऐसे में हमारा दायित्व बनता है कि हम शुद्ध अंतःकरण से, ईमानदारी और कर्तव्यनिष्ठा से इन सिद्धांतों की रक्षा के लिए अपने दायित्वों का निर्वहन करें। हम अपने उच्च आचरण में शुद्धता रखें, शुचिता रखें, अपने व्यवहार को से किसी प्रकार का कोई को कष्ट न हो, हमारे व्यवहार से हमारे कार्य में कोई संदेह न हो, हमारा आचरण ऐसा न हो जिससे कि लोकतंत्र की उच्च मर्यादा।
श्री जी किशन रेड्डी जी, अर्जुन राम मेघवाल जी, मीनाक्षी लेखी जी, डायना कैलॉग जी, दुनिया के विभिन्न देशों से आए अतिथिगण, कला जगत के सभी गणमान्य साथियों, देवी और सज्जनों, लाल किले का ये प्रांगण अपने आप में बहुत ऐतिहासिक है। ये किला केवल इमारत नहीं, यह एक इतिहास है। आजादी के पहले और आजादी के बाद कितनी ही पीढ़ियां गुजर गई, लेकिन लाल किला अड़ीग है, अमिट है। इस वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज साइट लाल किले में आप सभी का बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन है। साथियों, हर राष्ट्र के पास उसके अपने प्रतीक होते हैं जो विश्व को उसके अतीत से और उसके मूल्यों से परिचित करवाते हैं। और इन प्रतीकों को गढ़ने का काम राष्ट्र की कला, संस्कृति और वास्तु का होता है। राजधानी दिल्ली तो ऐसे ही कितने प्रतीकों का केंद्र है जिनमें हमें भारतीय वास्तु की भव्यता के दर्शन होते हैं। इसलिए दिल्ली में आयोजित हो रहे
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. Mahua Moitra has been expelled today from Parliament as an MP. This was always a matter of when and not if, ever since the charges against her came to light. She had accepted to sharing her parliamentary login and password with friend Hiranandani, whose offices in multiple locations were proven to have logged in, some even on the same day. While Mahua claimed they only typed in the questions she gave them, the damage was already done. Add to that the charges by erstwhile confidants that she took gifts and money in return for the credentials. There was hardly any way she could have been excused even by the Parliamentary Ethics Panel. Regardless, her expulsion has been severely protested by the opposition parties who claim she has been victimized due to political battle lines. Does that argument carry weight, or did Mahua deserve the expulsion? We'll take that question to our guest joining us in just a bit. First up, there was a heated debate in the Parliament today before Mahua Moitra was finally expelled by a House vote. Let me take you through some of the highlights of the showdown that ensued once the Parliamentary Ethics Panel report was tabled. So a short discussion on the Ethics Panel report began around 2 p.m. today. And responding to the opposition MPs, the Lok Sabha Speaker said that there can be no compromise on conduct of House. Rules of the House are above all. Congress MP Manish Tiwari urged the Speaker to allow time for the opposition members to go through the report and said that heavens wouldn't fall if they were given a couple of days or so. Now, opposition MPs, including Congress MP Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, sought the opportunity for Mahua Moitra to be able to speak today and to put across her side. But BJP MP Prahlad Joshi cited earlier precedent in 2005 when the Speaker Somnath Chatterjee did not allow MPs who were charged with a similar offence to put their side of defence on the floor of the House on the day when the report was tabled and the vote was to be done. Now, BJP MP Hina Gavit continued to lead the party's charge and defending the ethics panel's report. She cited that the report clearly says how on one particular day, Mahua Moitra's Lok Sabha account was logged in from 4 different places all around the world. Meanwhile, TMC MP Kalyan Banerjee claimed that it was not a fair trial against Mahua Moitra by the ethics committee as the said businessman in question, Darshan Hiranandani, was never even summoned for cross-examination. The discussion was allowed for about 30 minutes and finally at about 3:10 p.m. the House adopted the motion for Mahua Moitra's expulsion and the MP was expelled from Lok Sabha. 5 minutes later, the opposition staged a walkout as Mahua Moitra was expelled. Now, CNN News 18 accessed that 500-page ethics panel report earlier in the day which was adopted by the House and sealed Mahua's fate. Let's take a look at the salient features of this report. Many recommendations have already come out in the public domain earlier as well. So this is what the ethics panel report cited. It said that Mahua Moitra took cash and gifts from businessman Darshan Hiranandani to ask questions in the House. The ethics panel report highlighted that Moitra's action of sharing her Lok Sabha login credentials with an unauthorized person was a contempt of House. Ethics panel in its report said Mahua Moitra's conduct was objectionable, unethical, heinous and criminal in nature. They've also sought an intense legal and institutional inquiry by the Government of India in a time-bound manner. Remember, ethics panel has also recommended a probe by a suitable agency and CBI possibly is already looking into it, into the money trail between expelled TMC MP Mahua Moitra and businessman Darshan Hiranandani so that the quid pro quo, which Mahua Moitra continues to claim hasn't been established in this case, can be established. Now, there are no legal options in front of Mahua since this decision of Parliament cannot be challenged. What remains are some questions. First of all, will Mahua Moitra face a criminal inquiry over the allegations or not? Will quid pro quo be established by a further probe as has been asked for by the parliamentary probe? Is there a breach of conduct? If there is one, then why label it discriminatory is also a question. Can the opposition continue to cry foul? And if there is proof of cash being exchanged and the opposition's charge that there is frankly no case against Mahua Moitra, is that a fair case to be made? And will backing Mahua help or backfire for the India bloc as they have shown today in 2024? Will it be something that can go against them? That and other big questions coming up in our debate. First up, the biggest one that we're asking today is simply this: does the vendetta charge stand?
From a script, this is an ethics committee. The ethics committee, without getting to the root of this, has decided to hang me.
जैसे कि महुआ मोइत्रा को नाम लिए गए, जिक्र किए गए, उनके खिलाफ शिकायतें हैं, तो उनको तो कम से कम बोलने का मौका देना चाहिए नहीं? आप खुद बताइए सर।
2005 में 10 लोगों को निष्कासित किया गया था, उसी दिन रिपोर्ट दिया गया था और उस टाइम भी 10 लोगों को इधर अपने बात रखने का मौका नहीं दिया गया था। ये रिकॉर्ड पे है।
Fair trial only would be there when an affected person is being heard. If an affected person is not heard, there cannot be any fair trial.
Hello, Moto.
Let's go across first up to Karti Chidambaram, Congress MP joining us. He was seen standing in solidarity with Mahua Moitra today as Mahua Moitra made the exit from the parliament and of course gave out a statement as well. Karti, I understand standing in solidarity with a colleague. I understand that from, let's say, TMC MPs and MPs from across opposition bloc as well. But is it not a bit too much to suggest that there is vendetta against Mahua Moitra in this case?
Have you read the report?
Yes, portions of it, yes.
No. Which portions have you not read?
Tell me what is it that you want to highlight?
Have you read page 52, which is the recommendations of the committee?
I pointed out some of the recommendations of the committee earlier in the show. Go ahead, Karti. We have limited time.
I mean, if you're not read, I can. No, you might have limited time, but I'm not going to go by your clock. Look at page 52 in paragraph 72, point 1, subsection 2. In view of the highly objectionable, unethical, heinous, and criminal conduct of Srimati Mahua Moitra, so the committee comes to a conclusion that her conduct is criminal. But in the very next line, it says, the committee recommends for an intense legal institutional inquiry by the government of India in a time-bound manner. So they will find somebody's conduct criminal and then ask for an inquiry. And if you're finding somebody criminal, you must follow natural justice, you must follow procedures of evidence. But in a hearing, you only hear her and not allow her to cross-examine the people who have made allegations against her. So how is that fair process? So you don't follow fair process, you come to a conclusion, and then after coming to a conclusion, you're asking for an inquiry. So how is this even a report which is correct, which is fair, which can be relied upon? And how can this report be adopted by the recommendations of this report be adopted by a house? So this is the entire process reeks of reverse engineering a vendetta. You just want to disqualify somebody, expel somebody who's been a trenchant critic of the government. That's all. I mean,
but Karti, the fundamental
you
aspects.
Follow cricket. What is the fundamental point? What is the fundamental point?
Yeah, the fundamental aspects of this case is that she shared her login and password, which she accepted. Her defense in that case was only that other MPs also do it. I'm not finished. One second.
Hear me out.
I'll give you time. Just hear me out my question, then I'll hear you out. The fundamental aspect is this, that she shared her login and password. Her defense in this regard has been twofold. One, that there are quote-unquote no rules as to what you should do with your password and login, and that other MPs also share their password and login, although there is no other example cited of anybody sharing it with a third party who could also be a conflict, that can also be called to be a conflict of interest. They may share it with their secretariat, with their office, with their secretaries, etc. But this was an absolutely unattached, unconnected individual and entity with whom the login and password was shared. It has been, of course, proven in this report via data that the login was accessed through 4 different locations at different times, sometimes even during the day. Now, her defense was this was only to get some, typing services done. Does that defense stand?
See, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not here to defend her on those aspects. All I'm saying is the committee comes to a conclusion about unethical, heinous, criminal. Look at the language they come out, the conclusions they come up to. If they come up to these conclusions, why are they asking for an inquiry? If they came to these conclusions, why did they not allow cross-examination? That's all. You should have allowed cross-examination.
Cross-examination of whom exactly? This is a parliamentary ethics panel.
The people who...
This is not a court of law.
Precisely, the parliamentary ethics panel is relying on... But you are coming to legal conclusions. Then if you're not a court of law, you can't come to a conclusion. Only a court of law can come to a
But this isn't a court of... This isn't a legal conclusion that is binding in any court of law. Karti, you are a parliamentarian. I shouldn't have to say this to you. But the ethics committee of the parliament may not be a court of law, but they have their own rules.
Please don't be a spokesperson.
I knew you were going to say that. But I knew you were going to say that. But attacking me is not going to be a defense for Mahua Moitra. My question is simply this.
That's very good.
No, my question is simply,
that's very, very
Karti, my question is simply this. The Parliamentary Ethics Committee's, jurisdiction and its handling of a matter and even its verdict in a matter, they are not to be confounded with what a court of law does. You know this better than anybody else.
But then how do you come to a conclusion that it's criminal behavior? You can't come to a conclusion it's criminal behavior without giving without following due process. You can't. And
Unethical?
you can't come to all those conclusions without due process. You can't come to those conclusions without due process and due procedure.
But what is the due process that was not
unless
followed?
you follow cross-examination of the people making the allegations.
Is that done for a ethics committee of the parliament?
Of course, you should have, right of defense should be allowed to cross-examination. You only rely on an affidavit, unless the affidavit is not even worth the paper it's written on, if it's not stated in front of the committee and allowed to be cross-examined. Without cross-examination, how do you rely on it?
Okay, so can I come back to the question I asked you?
Why couldn't cross...
Yeah, can I come back to the question I asked you? The fundamental question that I asked you was this. As far as the ethics panel is concerned, they were going to decide on the ethical aspects of this complaint. You may have a problem with some of the words they've used in this report. I take your point. And they've recommended a probe by
I have serious problems with the words they use.
Absolutely. I take your point. And they've recommended a
But
probe which will be done by a CBI, agency, for example.
You can't. No, listen to me. You can't brush away these words. These are not words which are said lightly. Unethical, heinous, criminal conduct. I mean, you're coming to a conclusion.
Okay,
These
I
are
take
not
your
light
point.
words to be taken. How do you come to that conclusion?
Okay, I take your point. I want to just quickly
taken my point.
I just want to quickly move forward to the basic question that I asked you, and that is the basic question as far as this case is concerned, and everything else is relative or just comes out of that. Sharing of your parliamentary login with a businessman entity who has nothing to do with parliamentary procedures in India, was that right or wrong? Why is it so difficult for the opposition to also say this was wrong?
It is possibly wrong. It is possibly wrong. But expulsion is a disproportionate. At least hear me out. It's a disproportionate and unreasonable punishment. Expulsion is an unreasonable and disproportionate punishment for sharing your login passwords. Your censure could have been done, or a suspension for the week could have been done. Warning could have been done. I mean, why do you expel? Why do you extinguish their membership? Why do you deny the population of our constituency from having a member of parliament?
Okay, that's not a question I can answer.
What you have done is deprive the people of our constituency.
No, that's not a question I can answer, but that's a value judgment on
You
your side.
seem to be very enthusiastic in batting for them, though.
No, I'm sorry, Karthik, let's not go down that road. You're better than this. Putting insinuation on my part is not going to help your defense. It's not going to help Mahua Moitra's defense.
But I'm not insinuating anything, but the point is your line of questioning is completely prejudicial.
No, it's not. It's absolutely not. We've got a case of a parliamentarian sharing their login and password with a businessman entity who had no business having these login and password. You may think it's possibly wrong. Other people are also entitled to their view on this.
But I've proven to you that they did not follow due procedure.
No, I'm not sure if that is proven, but their point is taken. My last question to you, Karthi, is this. This is while the opposition is pitching this as one female MP especially being expelled because she was a very vocal critic, one of the most vocal, if I can say so, of the current government and dispensation. That is a qualitative judgment on the scenario that has nothing to do with the facts. And will that defense be what the opposition would like to take in front of the public in 2024?
You take it from me, in 2024, the 18th Lok Sabha, Mahua Moitra will come back with a bigger majority from her constituency. You take it from me on that.
That doesn't answer my question.
That will be the befitting reply. Of course it does answer, and this is definitely, we will go to the people to say how they are disenfranchising their elected members, especially all those who raise questions against the government, and they want to do institutional collapse. And
okay, so as I take it, this is going to be very much one of the things that binds the opposition parties, the India bloc together, the defense of Mahua Moitra, or the or a campaign against her expulsion.
That's not going to be the centrality of our election India alliance. But the fact that an MP has been expelled because she's been a very vocal critic of the government is a point which we will take to the people. And I am absolutely certain that her constituency is going to return her back to Parliament with a bigger majority.
Okay. Congress MP Karthi Chidambaram, thanks a lot for speaking to CNN News.
But I would seriously recommend reading page 52 all over again.
Karthi, let me assure you, before you joined us, I don't know if you could hear me, I read out exactly those findings and recommendations of the panel, so you can be rest assured we did our homework and we pointed it out.
If you look at point 1 subsection 2, line 1 contradicts line 2. They are in conflict with each other.
Okay. All right. Karti Chidambaram, thanks a lot for making out those points and for joining us. Let's also open this up to our other guests joining us. Let's go across to Charu Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP. With us, Vivek Silas is spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Riju Jatta is from the TMC. Sanjay Rana is political analyst also with us. Riju, I'll come to you first. You've heard, I think you possibly heard most of what Karti Chidambaram had to say. I'm guessing most of your defense or allegations against the present government or the way this ethics panel worked and the expulsion was carried out would be the same. But first 2 minutes to you.
See, if you go back in history, if you go back to our religion, then to defend the honor of one woman, Lanka Dahan ho gaya tha. And to defend the honor of one woman, even Mahabharata has happened. So similarly, from insulting Mamata Banerjee to the expulsion of Mahua Moitra, BJP has once again proven that they are anti-women. They cannot tolerate women in authority, they cannot tolerate women in power, they cannot tolerate women exposing them on the floor of the parliament. To save their political masters, a voice of dissent has to be shut. It is very sad to see that the temple of democracy today has been held hostage by the Duryodhans of the BJP. It was unethical. It goes against the course of natural justice. She was not allowed to defend herself.
That's not true. She was given an opportunity. She walked out of that meeting.
The entire parliamentary MPs, the opposition MPs said only one thing. Let her speak. She was not allowed to speak.
No, today is a different matter. Riju, you're changing goalposts. Today is a different matter, and I think the parliamentarians, once again, the parliamentarians gave a precedent as well why someone who's against whom you're adopting a report is not given an opportunity. Now, you could argue whether that is a right precedent or wrong precedent. I'm not getting into that. We can change it if need be in future. But this is how it stands. When it comes to the ethics panel committee's own probing, she was called in front of it. She was given an opportunity. She walked out.
I will give you two answers only three answers actually, 3 points. First, the entire ethics committee report is based on the affidavit of one Mr. Darshan Hiranandani.
That's not true.
Why was he? And Mr. Dehat Rai.
That's not true.
Then what is your basis?
The logins are proven. It's proven the logins were shared.
So
that logins were.
So what? I am asking you, so what? Yes,
that is the problem here. Riju, you're not understanding the gravity of the situation.
You are not understanding the gravity. Please, let me finish and then you can ask me all the questions. If I shoot somebody, I will be booked under IPC 302 because there is a law. Show me one section, one article from the parliamentary SOP that says parliamentarians cannot share their ideas. There is no rule for it. Point number one. So, and second, how does it become a matter of national security when all questions asked by the MP on the floor of the parliament can be accessed by a 20 rupees RTI? There is no evidence of any cash or gift handover. Not one shred of evidence. They have proved that she has taken money or gift. Third point, it is all based on Darshan Hiranandani's affidavit. Why was Darshan Hiranandani not asked to come and say that yes, this affidavit was done by me? So all in all, the people of this country have seen what BJP has done, and in due course of time, I am telling you, in 6 months' time, Trinamool Congress stands with Mahua Moitra. She will get elected with a bigger margin. She will go back to the state parliament and she will take BJP to the cleaners because we stand with Mahua Moitra.
Okay. So let me take your points that you made. I'll go across to Vivek if he also agrees with what the TMC stand or the opposition stand has been, that it is no big deal if Mahua Moitra shared her password and login with a businessman entity whose office is logged in from 4 different locations, sometimes even on the same day, and were quote unquote, putting in the questions on her behalf, because that's a flimsy ground.
Yes, first of all, good evening to all of you and the viewers. I think it's just a conspiracy by the Bharatiya Janata Party against the opposition. It's nothing more than that. I think it is a dictatorial decision what has been taken today. She was not even allowed to speak inside the parliament. If we see the Indian law, even the criminals are given chance to put their verdicts. Did Mr. Hiranandani say that he has given the money? No, he did not. At 12 o'clock, the report came, and by 3 o'clock, she was expelled from the parliament. Article 14 says the right of self-defense. That is what the article and the law of India says. And she had the right of cross-examination if Mr. Hiranandani has given her money. Of course, let us assume if he has given her money, why he is not arrested? Where is he? Sitting merely in Dubai. In 2005, the Bharatiya Janata Party says that people were expelled from the parliament. Yes, they were expelled, but they were caught on live camera. They were caught on live camera. And I would like to ask the BJP spokesperson, Charu Pragya ji, a BJP MLA was caught with 8 crore cash in Karnataka. What has happened to him? Narendra Tomar's son, we saw the video, it was about 10,000 crore. Has any inquiry been set on that?
Okay, I'll not get into that. Let's stick to the subject we're discussing today. I think it's important to understand also, and I know this is being obfuscated for various reasons today, but you know, what you understand how things happen in a court of law is not how it happens in parliament. In fact, this decision is not even challengeable in any court of law. In fact, MPs, parliamentarians, even MLAs, what they say on the floor of the house cannot attract a criminal case. This is the privileges that the house enjoys. And it goes on various lines.
This will not stand in any court. This will not stand in any court.
That will come to that when it goes to a court. You're not understanding the point I am making. This is an ethics committee of the parliament taking a decision. It has its own rules that it goes by. It has its own procedures it has to see to. Actually, the ethics panel has the broad responsibility and also the rights to take a decision if they feel any parliamentarian has brought the honor of the house down. It's as simple as that. Sharing your login and password is the only thing that matters here, and whether there is a defense for that or not. But I do take the point about the quid pro and quo. Charu Pragya, the report says